Welcome, everybody, to the CrossFire podcast. And I apologize, we're a couple minutes late, but we are on Mooch time, which is actually right on time. So listen, we've got a great stellar lineup tonight. We got a great cast here tonight with us. We got some usual suspects, a couple of pop-in special guests, which is fantastic. And let's go down the introductions, because introductions and outros seem to be almost a third of everybody's podcast these days. Let's see if we can wrap this up a little quicker. Let me start with the man who loves to podcast. He's the podcast guru, also known as Captain Starburst. Crap Gamer, what's up, buddy? Welcome to the show.
You know, I get people that message me. They're like, hey, what's up, Captain Starburst? And I'm like, hey, yeah, what's up?
That never gets old, Crap. I love it.
Yeah, and you laugh when I call myself the podcast guru. I'm like, hey, man, I'm a podcast guru, and you're like, LOL, and I'm like, dude, come on. You know,
it's almost, listen, there's a couple things that got me just cracking up, and when I send you those LOLs, by the way, those are not just like people just do LOL now on Twitter
on everything.
They're not laughing.
Yeah.
There's no, you even look at it and you're like, I know this person's at work not laughing right now. But the few that get me laughing is when you say that I actually do chuckle. I also chuckle at Megaton. And
I did that last night on a video, and I was just like, I bet Mooch is gonna find that hilarious. I was just like, I'm gonna fucking throw Megaton in there and see what happens. And
buddy, I love it when you do that. I really do laugh. I feel like Ron Burgundy. I'm like, I went home that night and put it in my journal. I laughed later that evening.
Hey, someone suggested Xbox One Megaton, and I was like, that would make my job easier. You know what I mean? I'd be like, Xbox One Megaton all the time.
You know, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that because I think the name is a major part of what E3 is. So hold on to that crap, because I know you got a couple of names, one that you're kind of fixed on, but we're going to get into it. Let me go down my list here. One of my new usual suspects, GKB. What's up, a.k.a. the governor? How you doing tonight, brother?
I'm doing good, bro. I'm ready to fucking Hulk out and do all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah, man. How about that? Me and you, I think, made headlines on Wednesday night, right?
Yeah, we definitely went in. It was awesome. That was
a great show. Great show. Well, listen, I think we're going to have a little bit more of that tonight. I don't know if it'll be against me, but it'll be against somebody on the podcast tonight with GKB. One of our buddies here who was with us from day one, Xbot448, never confused by 844. Brother, what's up tonight? How you doing?
What's going on, Mooch? King Neutral is in the building. General Xbot, which is a new nickname I've been given on Twitter, man. I can't wait to dive in with you guys. Yo, this panel looks absolutely amazing right now, dude.
I said it. I said if this group of people right here was walking down the street anywhere near E3, we'd be rounded up and thrown in the clink instantly. We would be arrested instantly.
No doubt, man.
You know what I'm saying? All right, so let me get to some of my, just so everyone knows, everyone sees South. South's working on his microphone. South, is that you?
Can you hear me?
We hear you. That is perfect timing, everybody. Timing's everything in life. Perfecto. Southbound and down, my brother from the West Coast. How are you, bro?
I'm doing very, very well. How's everybody doing tonight, man? What it do?
There it is. Thank the Lord he's back.
Another beautiful evening to be on Crossfire. You know, I'm so very happy to be here.
That's great. That's a nice Italian impression. I appreciate that. I don't do such a good Latin American one, but I'm working on it. Give me some time, Southie.
Listen, you know, when half your family are Dagos, you know what I mean? It's easy. I remember I used to just grow up and manja. All right, fuck. All right, I'll eat my spaghetti.
Hey, that's why we got this gut, buddy. That's why we're working out every goddamn day. Who you telling? Listen, let me get to some of my my special guests tonight. This is Mrs. Xbot448, a.k.a. Oh Snaps, it's Mel from Coffee Casuals and Consoles. Mel, welcome to the show.
You got the name right.
Absolutely.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for the invite. It's a pleasure, and I'm really excited to join you guys tonight.
Well, let me do this. I'm going to give Mel a quick plug here for everybody. I don't know if you guys actually check her morning show out. Me and Crap got a morning show. She has one. And there's very few people that handle a show. And like when you listen to a morning show, it's supposed to be cool, calm, collective. Okay. She's always got a different cast of folks. She has her usuals, but there's usually a pop in here or there. Sometimes Graphic God's on, sometimes he's not. There's this and that. But she handles it so well, so smooth. So Mel, we're really excited to get your 2 cents on almost everything we're going to talk about here tonight, especially Friday the 13th.
Awesome.
We're going to hit that right in the beginning. But one man I cannot go without talking about is a guy that I met through Xbox Nation, but he's been on fire on his channel and on Twitter. Dealer Gaming, what's up, buddy? We can't wait to tap into what your opinions are tonight.
Yeah, man. Glad you had me back on, man. Random, but I made it, and like I said, looking to have a lot of fun tonight on the podcast.
Absolutely.
Yo, dealer, talk about random, man. What was up with that fuzzy picture? That's all I need to know.
I'm working on Adobe Premiere right now, and I'm working with Colt because he's really good at Adobe Premiere. And I meant to send that to him, but you guys got a picture of my ball sack. So no, not really, but it's pretty interesting. So.
This is great. Well, let me start with this.
You're taking pictures of your balls, but
it happens.
Well, listen,
sometimes it just happens.
It gets views, South. Okay, it gets views. We're here to do business. No, listen, I got news for you, bro. Here's the thing. I'm not going to harp on Friday the 13th for a full hour like we did last week, but I do want to get Mel's take on it because Mel, and I'm coming to you first here, but I do want to poise the audience with the situation. For a full week, I was I'm not going to use the word negative, even though some people would say that. I was pretty apprehensive to how good this game was actually going to be. And I will say, and anyone who tuned into my review knows that I said that it did grow on me. But I did know that Mel was a huge fan of this game before it even came out. So, Mel, do me a favor and tell the audience. Now, what did you think of the game yourself? Like, as you were, like, the first time I know that you had some complications with Xbox, so you did end up buying the PS4 edition, which, you know what? Yeah. I can't ding you for that at all. You wanted this game, and only one was actually prepared at launch. So what was your take at launch, and how do you think it's, like, become over the course of the week you've played?
Man, at launch, I was pissed off. I was waiting till midnight, got out of work early. I was really excited. I'm like, I'm going home. I was like, Xbox, get ready. I'm going to send you the code. We didn't get our codes till 10 after. Because I did the backer kit, so I pre-ordered. So the next morning, the game still wasn't running on Xbox, and I was really upset. So I went on PlayStation, purchased it on the store, got on instantly. I played with a bunch of random people, and it was really intense. Like, at first, the fear factor is way up there when you try this game out. And then over time, like, once the Xbox one started working, I was able to play with all my friends. It was still intense at first, but then the intensity faded because it was just so much more fun. I agree with you. It was a great time. I didn't even get to play with you guys yet, so I look forward to that someday. But over an hour or two of playing, then the servers got kicked offline. I was really upset. I literally had a tantrum on Friday night, and I cried a little. I'm going to admit that. But Xbox, I'll tell you, he's like, you're handling it so well. I'm like, no, I'm not. But then, they're finally getting their shit together as far as putting the game back together. But I was in their Discord, and I let them have it because I was over here, I guess you could say, defending them, saying, hey, you know what? It's a small group of developers. They're doing everything they can. But at what point do you say, you know what? Enough is enough. Why am I going to sit here and baby them when I'm paying for a product? Like, I'm not going to do that to Walmart. I'm not going to do that to any other company. And I can understand both sides of, yes, they have a lot going on, but at the same time, they don't deserve a free pass because of that.
I totally agree. And that's something that I kind of touched on last week. And listen, I got news for you. As we progress through E3, I think you're going to hear me talk about this as we go further into the second half of 2017. Mel, you make a good point. Not only were you an actual consumer, you're a backer, okay? That means that you actually put money up when there was no product to actually take home that day, okay? That says something about where we are in 2017. Back in the day, you ask anybody in your household or your family that's, grandparents, how'd you start a business? You know how they started a business? With their own money, blood, sweat, and tears. Now people are like, hey, who wants a hamburger? I do. Okay, give me the money and then I'll go to the store and make it. What? What happened? I don't know what happened here. Now, but don't get me wrong. This is what's happening. People are actually defending it because they're saying, well, they're coming up with a concept. If you really want to back up the concept, then they'll put out the product. That's fine. I totally understand that. But do you know what I call that? Mooching. That's what I do. Okay, that's how you do things. You take the money in advance. Of course, everybody would have a business if we had the money in advance. So, listen, my whole point is I'm glad you kind of gave them a little bit of shit on Discord. I will say this much. They are working hard to put this thing together. So I will say that, right? They are doing that. And if we do get a single-player game, this is going to be something a lot better. And then $40 doesn't seem so bad. But, the gaming is the same. And Crap has made this reference a number of times. Gaming is like sports. It's what have you done for me lately?
Yay, sports.
But when you start, right? When you start a game at launch, if it's bad, it's got a bad taste in its mouth. Titanfall 2. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I just? I didn't mean that. But you know, there's things that happen that sometimes just it doesn't work out, and it leaves a bad ring. People don't like it. Crap's 2 games of defense, by the way, are Titanfall 2 and Friday the 13th.
2, I gotta say, is a great game.
There
Like, the
it is,
campaign
folks.
is fantastic, and the multiplayer
The
is good.
campaign was
The
very good.
multiplayer isn't as good as the first one, but that game is good all around. It's
Yeah,
so
well, let me
much
ask
better
Sal.
than Call of Duty.
We're
or
kind of
any-
going. Well, we're going back in time here, Crap. But let's ask South, because Southie was a big proponent also of Titanfall 2.
Yeah, well, I bought you the game, remember?
You did. I mooched it off you for crying out loud. That's why I got to get your 2 cents in here. He couldn't take me complaining anymore. He's like, you keep complaining.
How are you going to complain when you never even played the game, bro? Come on.
Oh, here we go.
Back to
Don't
that.
knock it
All
till
right.
you try it, folks.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
If
You
Mooch
can't
was
judge
making-
a book by its cover, or
If I had my own Red
green
Bull,
disc, blue disc, whatever the fuck.
listen, I'll tell you right now, green discs matter, South. Okay, green discs matter.
Wow, there you go.
But let me tell you this much: if Mooch
go
had a
there.
freaking Redbubble account, I'd have so many slogans on T-shirts right now. We wouldn't have enough room on that goddamn page. The whole thing is to be honest with you, though. I mean, that was the one thing that Gun Media is doing. That actually, to get it back to Friday the 13th, I do think that they're doing something right there.
You think so, Mooch? You think they're working hard?
Well, they're working hard now.
Dude,
working
I
hard
don't-
or
I
hardly
don't-
working?
I don't think
Get
that's
it?
the last. Mooch, I don't
New
think
feature
it's the
hard
last.
out.
Ed McMahon, everybody.
Yo, this is not the last that you're gonna hear about this. Check this out. There's a single player coming, right?
Yes.
And when the single player drops, they're also gonna drop the physical the physical version. You know, you'll be able to buy it on disc for a full $60. Now, if this single player is just the multiplayer with artificial intelligence taking over where your friends would take over, that is a huge fail. I am hoping that when it comes to the single player, you get more immersed and kind of like that cult Friday the 13th feeling. But if they just kind of tack on the single player as AI version of multiplayer, dude, you're not going to hear the last of like the negative news when it comes to Friday the 13th. And it pisses me off because I was so hyped for this game when I first heard about it. I heard rumors that, you know, at first they were saying that this patch was with Xbox and they were waiting for Xbox to certify it. And
Right.
then they were coming back on Twitter saying, well, we're still working on it and stuff like
Right.
that. So they're double talking on social media and stuff like that. I don't know if they're just nervous or if this is
You have to remember, they're a small team. You know
Yeah, they're
what I
like
mean?
5
They're
people,
a
bro.
big game.
dude, you don't need a big team to be honest. Like, is it with Xbox like at that point in time, or are you still working on it? You see what I'm saying? They're speaking with a double-edged tongue right there.
He did say Xbox did make an interesting point. They did come out and say that they were working with Microsoft's engineers or their software folks. So I mean, they did expand there. But the problem is Xbox. The one thing we don't know is what the element of the problem was. How big was the problem? Because even Microsoft might have been like, they might have shown up there and been like, holy shit, you guys really fucked up. Move over. Let me fix this. But that takes time. You know, it takes some time. And I think Microsoft and Sony, Microsoft is the case in point here because the issue with the beta that's rumored to be out is that Microsoft saw the potential and the growth in the sales that, you know, some people are saying they didn't realize would be. Here's the thing. May, June, July, and August, if you've got something that's even like quirky, like hot, people are buying it right now.
13th
Right,
on it. Like,
exactly. It's a moneymaker because of the name.
yeah.
Right? So,
Now, I got to ask you, Mooch, if they when they come out with the single player, because then, like I said, they're going to come out with the physical disc. The physical disc is going to be $60. So in Connecticut, that's $63.80 right there.
Right.
If the single player is just the multiplayer with AI instead of your friends, is this a $60 title?
That honestly, there's no way they could fool gamers this day with that kind of logic. If that's what
I don't
it
think
is,
they would do that at all.
I don't think they're going to do that. I don't even think that would be wild. That would be insane. I really think, honest to God, you're going to get something where you're a counselor and you've got to scavenge through and like do something, and then Jason becomes relevant probably so far into the game, and then you've got to try to defeat him. And I hope that's what they're doing. Although that sounds quite elaborate.
I am hoping for in-depth single player because, like Mel said, you know, the multiplayer with your friends, and your review said, you know, said the same thing. With your friends, it is a fun game, and you'll be playing it for a while, at least with your friends. Now, if they don't go in depth with the single player and they just kind of make it pretty much artificial, you know, and they just kind of tack in the AI there, that is a huge fail,
Well,
and there's no way that's.
I was saying this.
title.
I've saying this to Crap all week long, and Mel said it, but she said it in the nicer, kinder version of what I said. Basically, you go play with randoms, and what you're going to get is it's kind of a watered down version of the experience. When you play with your friends, it's a lot more fun. And don't get me wrong, I will say the shock level right now, Southie, you've played it as well recently.
Yeah. I was streaming with Tim and Beard the other night.
What's your take on it?
You know what? I mean, you know what? The servers are kind of whack because like I was Jason at one point and I was chasing Beard,
right.
And I had the little one of the little powers that Jason has, so I could see him with the infrared look or whatever hell. So I knew where he was at, so I was running to him. He was on the other side of the camp, so I was running to him, and all of a sudden the server dropped. So I was like, son of a bitch, and he was the last one alive.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So in that case, it's kind of frustrating. But at the same time, like you said, playing with your friends and, either you being Jason or someone else. And, because as soon as you get close to somebody, they're like, oh, I see somebody. You can see their name, line up because you can hear them.
Well, let me ask this question. Let me ask this question to the group, and please answer. And I'm not leaving Dealer and Crap out by no means because we're gonna peg them for the E3 stuff that's coming up. I'm actually gonna turn the mic to Crap in a minute. But here's the thing: do you guys like the game chat where the proximity comes into play, or do you prefer party chat where you can hear everybody?
Party.
I like party chat for the streaming, especially. Like it's kind of boring just to watch one person talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I kind of like the game chat myself. I gotta say, I do think that made the game a lot more fun for me and a lot more like the creep-tastic, if you will. It was more of like that Friday the 13th. That's where you are walking around the woods, and then all of a sudden it was great when like you're creeping around as a counselor, and all of a sudden I hear Crap talking. I'm like, oh, good, there's people over here. Like I'm like, good, I'm not gonna die alone. So it was like. It just was like really reassuring and kind of fun. And when you were Jason, you were like hot on the trail when you actually heard people like screaming and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I thought the game plays better in the streaming aspect. Yes, I think party chat's better because people tune in to listen to everybody. So I totally get that. Do you
mind if I add to that real quick?
Go ahead.
With the party chat, like I see what you're saying about the game chat because it is a lot of fun when, you do find someone, you're like, oh, I hear somebody. But at the same time, the party chat, if you're in there and you have Jason in there too, and then you just blurt out your location. Right. You're like, fuck. And then you try to hide and it intensifies it. And then I like to mess with them too. I like to be like, oh yeah, I'm swimming in the water. And if somebody doesn't know me and know I'm a bluffer, then guess what? They're in the water looking for me. So
right. But if you say that and you're bluffing for yourself for Jason who's in the party, guess what? He's going to go check the water out and then you just killed me or GKB.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait a minute.
Oh, better you than me.
Right. Exactly. Well, there it is. That's the way you play. That's the way you cold-blooded. That's how you play that game. Okay, I like that. All right, listen, I got a lot of people in the chat. Crap does this a lot on Xbox Nation. I talk to the chat
hit
very
that
rarely.
thumbs up, people.
Well, yes, please hit that thumbs up and please hit the subscribe button while we're doing a quick promo. But listen, I got news for you. We don't always just jump into the main topics as soon as you start a podcast. Crap says this a lot on Xbox Nation. I don't say it here. We're gonna get into E3.
I'm the podcast guru, so I
you
always
are
come
the
up with good
podcast
ideas.
guru. Yes, I would like one of those Buddha. You know the Buddha. I want the Buddha doll, but with podcast guru and Crap Gamer.
Somebody photoshopped me on a Buddha right away, immediately.
Damn, yo, Crap, you snatched the Swami hat from Mooch, and now you're the podcast guru. Like, what the hell's going on, man?
That's a joke, like an in-joke between me and Mooch, because I would come up with some good ideas for stuff, and I'm like, hey, you should do this. But the main thing is when you start a podcast, people filter in throughout, like, the first 20 minutes or so. So
25 minutes is filtering.
Yeah, to hit on the main topic right away is kind of foolish.
No
show does that. Look at WNBC. Like when they start their show, right? I mean, when you watch anything like the Tonight Show or something, the first 10 minutes is just Jimmy Fallon kicking his feet and like pointing to the audience, like you, you, and then all of a sudden they do the special guests come on a half hour into it.
I will say, Crap, like ever since you said that, like that's what I've been doing on next podcast. You start with a couple kind of like surface topics to get everything warmed up because you're not getting your full audience in right in the beginning. So
I'll just do long ass intros like, hey, how you milked the cow, huh? Oh, really? Interesting. That's great. Tell us a story about what you had for lunch today. You know what I mean? It's
fucking
just like,
guru.
That's exactly how it works. You know what I mean? And then when you hit prime time hour, that's when you hit the really meaty topic. You know what I mean? Like you keep them. It's called deep teasing them. So that's
yeah,
that's
geez,
right.
there's
That's
even
right.
a term.
Well, you would figure that people were here because they just wanted to listen and enjoyed listening anyway. So I wouldn't imagine it really mattered too much what the topic was.
Well, I think it depends. Like a lot of people want to hear a certain thing. Like if you name, like, people want to hear about
John
Friday
Carmen
the 13th.
talking about Scorpio being twice as powerful.
Exactly, right. So they're like, when did you hit on that topic? And you're like, well, we haven't yet because we're not going to do that for a little bit. But that's just in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like I do that.
Well, listen, while you're doing that crap, I'm going to come right back to you right away. You did a video the other day, if it wasn't yesterday. I get confused. You have like 8 of them a day. But no, they're all great, by the way. Go watch them, folks.
Oh, every one of them. Get your asses over
Go
there.
watch them, please, and hit the like button. No, but when I say this crap, you did make a good point. We've all had this fear, right? For what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? Everybody's been jumping off ledges and like freaking out. Microsoft's not going to have anything. But then you went through and we kind of depicted a whole bunch of different games. I think you went through it on Xbox Nation as well. Let's talk about E3 for a second. Microsoft's not going to show up, spin the box on like a pinwheel, and be like, "That's Scorpio. Good night, everybody." Right? I mean, we've got BioWare showing up. We've got possibility of leaks of Borderlands 3. We've got Splinter Cell. What else do we have? I mean, there's of course the first party games that we know of, and then we know Assassin's Creed and a new AAA game first party that Phil is probably going to present to us that may be out next fall. I mean, that's not a bad lineup. And all of those are things people haven't seen. Guess what people have seen? Battlefront 2, Call of Duty again. People have seen these things. But people are like, oh my God, Battlefront 2's on Sony's stage? Sony won. And let's watch Days Gone for another 30 minutes at the end. No, like, I don't understand. Like, where is it that this false hype is coming for Sony's E3 and Microsoft's kind of getting the shaft like usual crap? Can you speak to that and what you were talking about on your video?
Yeah, you know what? I just think that a lot of people are down on Microsoft's E3 just because they don't, there hasn't really been any leaks or anything like that. And they just assume that Microsoft is going to have a bad E3 because Phil doesn't like to do games that are well out in advance. So he's not going to show anything that's like 3 years out. Now, what's funny about this is, and I don't really like Kotaku, but they did a article today that says 1 year later, did Sony keep their E3 2016 promises? So you go down there and you see, and you look at the first party stuff, right? The promise. God of War 4, did they deliver? Not yet.
Right.
Let's see again. The Last Guardian, promise. Did they deliver? Not yet. Or wait, no, it says, actually it does say not yet. Much like God of War, the title was delayed even further. Yeah, so then they also show Horizon Zero Dawn. Did they deliver? Yep. Then they show Detroit. Did they deliver? Not yet. Then they show, let's see, what else do they got here? Like some third-party shit. Oh, then they show like some Crash games or whatever. Did they deliver? Not yet. Yeah, and then they go on to show Hideo Kojima's thing. Did it deliver? Not yet.
In case anyone in the audience is wondering, the word of the day is that's a pattern. Okay.
Yeah. Then it shows Spider-Man. Did they deliver? Not yet. Days Gone.
I can't wait for that.
Did they deliver? Not yet. Literally, all the first-party offerings, with the exception of Horizon Zero Dawn, are not yet. So that was super interesting to me because with Microsoft, what they do is they show something, and then you're likely going to get it within that next year. Now, anyway, like not at first. Like they totally handled Crackdown and Scalebound wrong, in my opinion. They shouldn't have announced those games years and years out. Some people like knowing 3 or 4 years out, but anything can happen in this day and age with these games. So you could see delays or cancellations. And sometimes when you announce a game too soon, like a lot of people don't even care about Crackdown right now. I mean,
don't say that. Don't. See,
there's a point. Listen.
Until we see gameplay and all that.
Exactly. Like people are also like Cuphead who, right? Because they showed that they've been talking about it for so long. That's what happens. You start talking about these games.
May, wasn't it?
Well, it was supposed to come out sometime this year, but we haven't seen or heard anything about it.
With Crackdown, I think the only misstep there, I have no problem with when they announced it, because knowing with the new technology. But then again, I'm a hardcore gamer, so I look into this stuff. The new technology that they're trying to use, I knew it was going to take some time to develop. I think the one misstep with Crackdown is that whole rumor or whatever about the beta or them
It
talking
wasn't a
about
rumor.
a beta.
They said that we were getting a
them
beta.
talking about the beta coming out and it never did. That was the misstep right there. That would be the one thing that I would hold against them. But everything else, when they announced it, I really have no problem with that. It was funny with you saying the not yet article and stuff like that, because I believe that's Sony's conference title coming up for this E3. It's going to be Sony's games not yet.
Well, for me, that's a bit of a problem. Like, it's cool, but it's basically lying to your people, like the people that like want the games, because people run out and they buy these consoles a lot of times based on what they see at these events. So, like, you know, somebody even would have maybe bought a PS4 at the PS4 launch because they announced Uncharted 4 then, not knowing that you weren't getting that game for a few years. You know,
did you read like in like the small lettering for last year's conference? It was like early development, like a lot of that stuff. They did kind of post in small early development guys and stuff like that. So like I knew a lot of the stuff that they were showing wasn't going to be shown, and I think Mooch can agree to this. I think like the games that we were seeing, we knew were like 3 years out or whatnot. It was one of the things we actually like pointed out about that, is that we have no idea when they're coming out.
That's what I want to know right now. Okay, me and GKB, I want to pull you into this because we were talking about it on Wednesday. Okay, and the one thing that we kind of I'm going to use politely disagreed about was just that you were more impressed with the fact that Sony was going to show all of those games that we saw last year, plus all that third marketing deal. And my whole pitch was with Phil behind the wheel. Part of my speech tonight. He's giving you games.
That bottle or what?
Absolutely, I had a couple of vinos, buddy. That's how it works. But the whole thing is that we have with Phil behind the wheel. You've got him. He will not show you games that are not going to be on your platform within 12 to 18 months. So what you're going to see, and I'm sorry if this is disappointing, folks. You're going to see Crackdown 3. You're going to see Forza 7. You're going to see State of Decay 2. And you're going to like it. I mean, I hate to be like that, bro. Like, those games are going to look really good, and they're the games that have his fingerprint on them. So, like, these are games that you can see he's been tweeting out. Checked in on the Crackdown 3 crew. Things look great. Played a little Crackdown. Things going to be amazing. He doesn't have to speak to Forza. Forza's Forza. But you know what I mean? Like, that's why you keep seeing him talk about Crackdown. He knows that's his baby. And so that's really, really got to shine. As far as third-party deals, and somebody was in the chat, I can't remember his name, he said it a while ago, but the whole thing about it is this. He's like, why is it, Mooch, you keep saying Battlefront 2 and COD don't matter? It's not that they don't matter. You don't understand. I understand. Like, it's like saying, hey, my football team's got linebackers. So does mine. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't, like, it's like, I understand yours might be a little bit better, but I got linebackers too. We're going to play those games. And the thing is, Battlefront 2 and COD, everybody knows, like, there's no secret that that's on every system now. Yes, the random casual who just turned 18 and actually trips and falls into a GameStop and sees the blue box, he may fall for it. I mean, I can't say that I'm wrong. You're not wrong there. I might be wrong there. But I'm going to say the benefit of the doubt is wherever his friends are is where he's going to play. And that is where Phil's gamble is. He's taking a huge risk in saying, and I think it'll pay off, he's saying when you see our games on this console, it's so different that you don't care where your friend. You're going to talk your friend into coming to Xbox One Scorpio. And GKB, what do you think about that? And as time has really changed since Wednesday.
Yeah, I mean, I want to reiterate something. I was my point wasn't that I was impressed with PS4's lineup or anything. I was kind of pissed off that Microsoft didn't go after any of those third marketing deals. I mean, I get your point where his whole bet is to bring friends over, but if their friends are playing on PS4, they're not going to bring them to Xbox. They're going to bring them to PS4, right?
Right.
And that's where I was, going after at least pick up one or two of these. And, don't get them all. I understand that, but I mean, one or two of these to bolster your lineup to have that talking point when you're in conversations. And it's going to be kind of tough where if you're an Xbox fan talking to a PlayStation fan and being like, well, we got all this exclusive content with these third-party deals. Yes, you can play them on Xbox as well. But that's a really good talking point, as well as on YouTubers and all that kind of stuff as well, man. Like, I keep saying this over and over and over again. Like, the media is more switching over to influencers and all that kind of stuff. And if they're getting the third party exclusive content on a certain platform, that's where they're going to play it, because that's where they want the clicks and that's where they want their
GKB. Let me say something, because what you just said, you just hit a real hot topic that no one's really touching today. And I never recommend anybody go to IGN, but I will say this. So I wanted to see what their take was on Friday the 13th. And at the very end of Friday the 13th, they had this point that what's his name, Damon Hatfield said, and I thought it was really, really interesting. He said, "Please make sure that you tune in and watch our 4K 60 coverage of Friday the 13th." Now, they did do it on Steam, but hear me out for a second. This is going to be the trend moving forward, in my personal opinion, and I could be way off basis here. But if what we said is true, and the Boogies and the Angry Joes and the Rad Brad start playing all these games in 4K 60, and they broadcast in 4K 60, that's a deal changer. That's a deal changer. So what Phil's trying to say, and you just said it yourself, GKB, is basically once 4K 60 is the new standard, that's when all of a sudden, and somebody in the chat, I think it was Lethal Papa said it, they said word of mouth is the greatest form of advertisement this day. And that can't be any more the truth, because Netflix, nobody was like, oh, I can see the 4K quality on the commercial. No, people are like, dude, the 4K streaming, if you got Fios or you got Spectrum with the high, with the high down, you're good, bro. This is amazing. All of a sudden, 10 people from work that night went home and upgraded Netflix to the 4K subscription. That's what I'm saying, and I think that's Phil's gamble.
Mooch, I gotta agree with what Microsoft is doing with seeing the influence on YouTube when it comes to streamers and stuff like that. Seeing what Scorpio offers in terms of game capture and native 4K, 60 frames per second. When these streamers start looking towards consoles to really stream their games that way, because let's face it, a lot of them are PC guys. When they start, really going into the console and streaming the Scorpio version of games, that is going to be a word of mouth that I think a lot of people are kind of underestimating, because me and O-Snaps, we have 3 kids at the house, and they forever like trying to get on YouTube to watch was it Hello Neighbor and all these games. And when they come to the Xbox, and you're going to get a lower price point console, but you're still going to be able to stream native 4K 60 frames per second, I know a lot of those streamers are going to look at that and be like, damn, the ease of use just to be able to pop that up, throw it on and stream, they're going to start using it. And I think that it over time, that is going to be a huge thing in Xbox's favor, man.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I think that is a big deal. Now,
here's the problem with that, right? Like, I get 4K 60 is the new buzzword and all that kind of stuff, right? But exclusive content and YouTubers and stuff, that's where they're going, regardless if it's 4K 60 or not. Like that hands down is what's going to happen, because they want those clicks, and to get those clicks before anybody else is, you have to have the content before anybody else does, right? So that kind of defeats the whole 4K thing. And a lot of people that, watch YouTube and stuff also watch it on their phones and everything. So they're not really going to be able to stream it in 4K. And all
no, that's true. That's true. But hear me out. And crap, you have to speak to this a bit yourself, because you've been using this as one of your puns for a while. Is that when you start seeing and I'm going to use the Rad Brad as a good example. He has well over 1 million subs on YouTube, and
doesn't he have like 7 million or something?
It's an insane amount. I mean, he can retire.
I actually watch him now because of you, Mooch. I hope you.
Listen, I got to be honest with you. You got to give credit where credit's due. The guy is, there's a lot of people on YouTube that are like, I'm impartial, and they're like, Xbox sucks. What? All right. Thanks for your impartial attitude. But no, he doesn't give a shit. This dude starts the game and talks to his audience while he plays the game. And he went from 360 to PS4 this gen. But what Crap's been saying, and I do buy into this, and Phil's now starting to say it, is that when he gets a Scorpio, he's going to be able to hit the stream button, and he's going to be able to record all this on 4K 60 right off of his Scorpio. And that's going to be a huge advert, because he says right in the beginning of all these, I want to thank Xbox and I want to thank Microsoft Studios for the code. Let's do this. He does his whole little, let's do this. That's his MO. But nonetheless, my point is I think that with time, all right, and what do they call this? The grassroots type of style of advertising. That's how it bleeds out through the system. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I wanted to kind of hit up Dealer here. Dealer, do you think this makes any difference? Crap always calls you the tech guy. But I mean, in all honesty, you're the one that does a lot more streaming and stuff, not streaming, but actual recording off of your Xbox. And if I'm wrong, please tell me. Do you see yourself using this thing because it's a 4K thing? Do you think people give a shit?
Yeah. I mean, some people do, but you got to keep in mind that there are still people that don't. They choose. They literally click 1080p over 4K because they don't have the bandwidth to watch the content.
Right.
So there are restrictions there. But secondly, to GKB's point, yeah, people like more console, they are Destiny channels, you know what I'm saying? They're going to want to have all the DLC. I get it. That's what their channel's on. But you got people that are also watched because they are just purely entertaining, and they're just playing a game, and their fans show up and support them. Yep. So, it may or may not be a factor. But my thing is, I think there's still a role for traditional marketing to get the perception out there, because once again, I'll say this for the 500th time because it flies over a lot of people's heads. It's not about exclusive DLC. It's not about, a fucking red gun you might get if you pre-order. It's about letting people know that this year, the first time in almost half a decade, it's the best time to play on Xbox. They have the best versions, and they need to let people know that. Microsoft have the budget. There is no excuse. That's why, I got a video made, and I'm ready. I'm ready for after E3, but, if they don't step it up, and I don't see a shift in marketing, that they released a full commercial with Danny McBride, which I actually put on Twitter. I liked it, right? But that's a 3-minute ad. They're not going to put that on television. They got to kind of focus their efforts in 30-second ads that are really good to get the point across, and they need to do that for Scorpio. And if they don't,
less isn't more.
That's going to be a problem.
More is more. Exactly. Yeah. They need to play that commercial like every day in their fucking meeting room at Xbox.
Cut that one down to 30 seconds, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
I about shit myself when
just the very end where he says, "Hey, Xbox Game Pass, unlimited, blah blah blah." You know what I'm saying? Like, it's got to happen. There's got to be a shift here. So I want to see their marketing team catch up.
It was like, how come nobody says "loved you and your highness"? You know what I mean? Like that movie sucked.
It was a great online ad. It was a great online ad, but it just won't work for TV.
Dealer, I agree with you on the 30-second spots on TV and stuff like that. I just wanted to go back with GKB in terms of the streamers and stuff. I think with Xbox and what they're doing with Windows 10, this is also an opportunity for streamers, because there's a bunch of streamers that play the games like Hello Neighbor or The Culling and stuff like that, and their audience knows them for that. If they swing over, because Xbox, Windows 10, you got that console PC kind of like connection. If more of those computer games come over to Xbox, which I think they will, especially with mouse and keyboard support and stuff, and these streamers adopt the Scorpio, like that is also something that is going to fuel that wave in terms of the grassroots, like going through YouTube streamers.
Here's my rebuttal to that, right? Like, if they're already a mainstream streamer and they're doing their thing and they have the best rig, why would they come over to Scorpio? Like, they're already got like 1080, ties and all this other stuff. Like, I don't foresee that. Like, as well as like even guys that are like console streamers, right? They already got the capture cards, they got all this other stuff. Like, that really doesn't appeal to them as much as we think it might. I mean, it's definitely a push in the right direction for them. And if they do want to go to 4K content at some point, that is an option for them. But right now they have tons of setups already.
I don't even think that it would be so much the 4K stuff. Like, that's something that Microsoft is gambling on, and a lot of content creators are going to get free Xbox Scorpios. But I think it has to do with the best performance. Yeah. Like, that's exactly like a lot of the streamers and stuff went PlayStation 4 not because of any other reason, but because of best performance. Like, even some of Sony's deals they're not getting early content or anything. They're just getting a name slapped up there. Yeah, there's the Destinies and Call of Duties, but I'm talking about some of the other stuff. I'm sure some of these people are going to want not only that, but the latest and greatest stuff. Like, you'll always see people buy the latest and the greatest. Can I bring everybody that could actually be a big selling point, is the fact that they're going to have the best version. Like, even when Microsoft had marketing rights with Call of Duty earlier in the generation, they still played on the PS4 because it performed better. Right. So I would assume that that some of that can happen, and you might see some people go back to
crap. Let me just say something real quick, and I apologize to interrupt, but somebody in the chat was like, whatever GKB is saying is going over Mooch's head. You have to understand something. Let me explain something. I understand what GKB is saying, and his point's valid. His point's very valid. But I'm trying to see what Phil's rationale is here, and here's my point. Do you guys remember back every E3 before this one? Whenever we saw a game, remember Division. Division's a great example. We saw Division on stage, and people were like, holy shit, Division looks so good. It looks so amazing. And then somebody was like, dude, calm down. That was the PC version. And you're like, oh, all right.
The PC version doesn't even look that good.
Right, exactly. That's the PC version. It's always the PC version. What about now when you see games that are playing on Microsoft stage, even if it's not the same game, right? So Battlefront's going to be shown on Sony's, but then you see Crackdown 3 in 4K, whatever, 30 or 60, whatever that game's going to be, and you're like, wow, that is the difference between that and that. They're still going to wow you and blow you away because this time they're going to say played on Scorpio. And I mean, that's my whole point here is that I think the gamble isn't we needed to go get Battlefront 2. People with time, and when I mean time, I don't mean the day after E3. I mean probably January, February 2018 are going to be like, holy shit, they weren't kidding with Scorpio, right? Wow.
Well, here's the thing. Like,
I really think, and I'll let you go here in a second, Jake, but I really think that more than anything, them upping the quality on their capture, which, by the way, if the CPU was exactly like PS4 Pros, which has been confirmed not to be, it would not be able to do 4x the bit rate, the 4x the resolution, and the exact same frame rate for game capture and streaming. That's all CPU bound, right? So PS4 Pro CPU, it cannot do that. Maximum that can stream is 1080p 60. That's, like I said, 1/4 of what Scorpio can do. All CPU bound. So there's more there. Yeah. But in regards to streaming, I think that's their effort to kind of say, hey, if you got a Scorpio, your quality is going to be higher. People are actually going to see what these Scorpio games look like more often. And over time, that's just going to sink in. These games look damn good, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And that was – go ahead. No, go ahead.
I want to go back. I think Microsoft's going to have like a great E3, and they're going to show some fantastic stuff. Don't get me wrong. I'm just coming at from the perspective of like, look, I get it. Like first parties, like Crackdown and all that stuff is going to look fantastic. Forza is going to look phenomenal. The problem is that people expect first parties to look great. Like that's a given. Like they want to see the third parties. So again,
wait till they see GT Sport. Go ahead.
I get you. I get what you're saying. But
yeah.
If they had like a Battlefront 2 or they had Red Dead and they showed it up there, that's going to be even more impressive because then they're going to be like, all right, so I know the first party obviously is going to do 4K 60, but now here's third parties doing 4K 60. See what I'm saying? Like that's a much more appealing selling point to casual people and the more people, you know, the other side that they need to pull in to Xbox to get their install base higher and up to what PS4 is doing right now.
I agree. Southie, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I had a question for you guys. Now, when it comes to Crackdown 3, do they have to hit the 60 frames with 4K?
I think Crackdown 3 is going to be 30.
Yeah, open world. I'm still thinking will be
I think
30.
There's too much going on, in that game that they really couldn't lock it down to 60.
Well, if you look at the leaked documents, they mentioned that they don't name the games, but I think that it's easy enough to decipher which ones were being worked on, and that was one that was going to be 30 on.
Now, okay, so if that's
Xbox.
only 4K 30, is that kind of like an L for Xbox?
Why would that be an L? They said that the games that were built to run at 30 are going to still run 30, and then games that are meant to build at 60 are going to be 60.
That's a valid question. That's a valid question from South.
When you consider Scorpio, I mean, that's supposed to be a next flagship game. So you want that running at
It should be 4K 60.
Right.
And as well, like Phil Spencer come out and said no compromises. Like if you're going to compromise on your first party games and do 4K 30, that's a compromise to me, and I have an issue with that. So.
Well, it's going to be. I mean, like I can almost guarantee it's going to be 30, just because it's going to be 30 on the Xbox One.
If there's no CPU bottleneck, then they should just be able to lower the resolution and get 60 at 1440 or whatever. Anyway,
so they can do that for Xbox One S, exactly.
Well, not Xbox One S, but I mean Scorpio, no problem.
Well, I don't see why Scorpio can't be 4K 60, and then you get the 60, you just lower the resolution on the current.
Well, there's going to be games on there that are only going to be 30, guys. Like, come on, that's
my problem is like if they're going to show like Forza Motorsport like 6 and throw Apex out there and they're doing 4K 60, all your first party needs to be 4K 60. If you don't, you're
that's not open world though, man. Yo, do you guys realize that as soon as you see an open world game running at 60 frames per second, it is like a fucking revolutionary day for consoles when that happens. That is such a huge.
Okay, well,
here's the problem I go back to is like it's always like Microsoft does like 4K 30, and it's like it's okay, Microsoft, it's okay, you could do that. No, they fucking said 4K 60. Give us 4K 60, and if you can't deliver on that, you're promising and you're going against what you said to us.
But
that
again,
okay.
Again, if you look at what they even said when Digital Foundry tore down the Scorpio, they said games that are running 30 are going to run 30. There's not really anything they're going to do about it. You know what I mean? That's just how it is. And
well, let me ask GKB a question, because I think Dealer.
But this goes back to like what Crap was saying about like Destiny and all that kind of stuff too. It should have been 60. Well,
it should have been, 60. Yeah.
Well, I mean, GKB, how do you feel? How do you feel about 1080p 60 on Scorpio?
Honestly, I've never really wanted the 4K anyway. I'd rather have like the 1440 or 1880p. I think frame rate is more important to me than resolution, honestly.
And that's something I have to agree with you with.
Screen tearing, that's for sure.
Yeah, I hate screen tearing. Oh my god.
Right. So I mean, that's something that we should discuss for a second. I mean, are you guys okay with the fact that they're not going to do this? I think that for some reason, they got 4K on the chip, right? They're all going to be wearing 4K shirts all week next week. My point is that I think they're gonna do 4K 30 in a lot of cases, where I would rather see them do 1080p 60, because who cares? Our TVs will kind of upscale it to 4K anyways, right? Or whatever the hell the TVs do. I'll leave that to Dealer. But I mean, that's something that I would rather. That's something I would rather see as a gamer. Because listen, the one thing you can say is this: I don't see 1080p 900p. I don't see the difference. I don't see the difference between 4K and 4K. Okay, great. You know what you do see? 30 frames and 60 frames. Anytime, all day. Like, that's not even... Like, if you can't see that, gaming is not for you.
Yeah, one's really good. One's really good while sitting still, and the other one is great while doing everything else, right? 60 frames, so
60 frames.
You know, I mean, now let's talk about something else that I think is a huge... this is going to be a catastrophe, no matter what. I mean, the Lord himself can come on stage and bless Scorpio with an actual name, and Kotaku won't like it.
Nobody's gonna be hit. Nobody's gonna like it, bro.
Right. So what do we feeling the name's gonna be? Southie, have you heard anything from your peeps? No. Anything, even something that rhymes with it?
Nothing. No.
All right. How about Crap? I know you're leaning towards Xbox One X. Have you heard anything different that may lead you a different way?
I've heard Xbox One X from 4 different things now. So,
oh damn,
boy! All right, I was kind of hoping for Xbox One Elite, and I know there's already an Elite out.
A lot of people want Elite.
Just go Elite, because
they could rebrand it a new Elite. You know, Elite is the best possible name, and it sucks that they've already used it. You know,
Infinity, man, come on, let's go Infinity.
You know what? They could call it Elite. Like, I mean,
make the Infinity symbol out of it. That would be amazing.
I've heard Xbox One Alpha from a guy.
I've heard Alpha too.
Yeah, I don't know.
If it's Alpha, it's, you know what the problem with Alpha is? Sounds like it's before Beta. Sounds like, you know what I mean?
It just doesn't tell the average consumer how it's better in any way. As I said, if people see the Pro, they're like, I'm a Pro. You know, like they just instantly assume that it's better. You know,
see Sony rip a page right out of Steve Jobs' handbook. God bless you, Steve. We miss you. Listen, real quick, Mel, what do you think? From everyone's always saying, I want to. There's a lot of ladies podcasts out there. What do you think? Like, what do you think is a creative name that you've either heard or you'd prefer? Do you care about this at all?
Honestly, I'm so sick of hearing about what they're going to name Project Pancakes. I really am. I think that they should drop the one for sure. We had a hashtag contest and someone won $10, and it was like just silly names because people are going crazy with it.
Yeah.
To be honest, it's like, I guess we'll wait and see, and none of us are going to be happy unless it's what we want, right?
Right.
We're
just not happy
name.
At all.
Just look at the Mixer thing. Like, people are like, I hate Mixer.
That name is so stupid.
It's pretty bad.
The only name that could get it across is Xbox One. Way better than PlayStation 4 edition. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that sounds stupid, but that would say it all right there.
At the end of the day, it's still like a brand line, so they're probably going to hold on to the Xbox. And I think that if they were going to do anything, it would be like Ultra or Omega or something like that. But I think I would settle for it either way.
I mean, I agree with
you. Like, whatever they say.
I kind of want something where the Xbox name comes back. And I know, Crap, we had this discussion, and Mel said it, so let's just talk about it. Get rid of the one. And I know Crap did a really good meme of the John Travolta character being like, where's the Xbox One games in Walmart looking around? It was great. And Crap's right. I mean, as far as marketing goes, anybody who's got marketing 101 would say what Crap's going to say, and he's right. You can't because of the branding. But let's just move on. And if he just says, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, the Xbox, people will absolutely rise out of their seats, almost like the Shenmue 3 director is on stage again, and clap and light a match until like cameras stop flashing. I just think people wanted to go back to that. You know, Apple did it to a certain extent. I think the numbers and this ridiculous. You got to stop with all this. I think it's like don't get me wrong. Good for you, Xbox, and saying infinity or infinite, whatever. That's fine. But the thing is like we got to stop making these consoles sound like new cars. Yeah, you know.
It's just ultra confusing though, man. Like
Xbox One, G35R, GTX.
Really confusing, and they're going to have one game disc just like PS4 Pro. It's still going to be called Xbox One. They're just going to have another moniker on the end. They've got to, right?
Can
it's
I
going
ask
to work just like PS4.
Go ahead.
With the rebranding of Beam being Mixer, do you think that they're gonna kind of take the name and mash together with something there? Like, you know, and then they changed Microsoft Studios to Microsoft Studios and what was it, Global Publishing or something? I don't remember off the top of my head. Like, do you think that they're going to bring something along the lines of that together, possibly?
Could be.
They're really putting down on Mixer and yeah, here we go, crap. We got the siren for you, man. But they're really like doubling down on Mixer, and they're really trying to compete with like YouTube and Twitch and stuff in terms of streaming. So I mean that would also be a plausible move. I don't think they're gonna do it, but that would be something to consider.
I think they should keep Scorpio. I think it should just
that's it. Listen, that's genius. Listen, if you're not gonna go Xbox, go with something that in the entire media can't make fun of. They can't make fun of Scorpio. They've been putting it in print for 12 months.
They can make fun of it.
No, they can't. No, they can't.
And the community has embraced it. The community has totally
they've embraced it.
What it is.
We're the minority though, right? Like we know that. That's like, you know, like but before the Xbox One came out, we all knew like in the know it was the fucking Durango. But we didn't want to fucking call it Durango. You know what I mean? Because that's stupid. Like, you're not gonna call it that.
But it was called Durango on like page 3 of subsection 18. Like nobody cared. This is everywhere.
On like N4G. That's what I'm saying though. You don't understand. Like these.
They're handing out
this was
Scorpio
probably
pins. Crap.
I understand that, but you know they're just trying to build up hype, and they've done a good job with that.
Right.
But I think that just calling it Scorpio is not going to be.
I'm afraid they're going to name it the Xbox One Funkin' Go Nuts. You know what I mean?
Well,
like, I don't go. You know what I mean? I don't.
Xbox One X makes sense because then the fucking acronyms doesn't spell out bone and all that bullshit. And
Wait a minute.
X-Bone
guess what?
It says Xbone X. That's all it says. It's
No,
Xbone
it
X.
doesn't. It's XBOX. It's Xbox.
Oh, yeah. Thanks. Crap. Do you think the hate? You got to get rid of the one.
Come on, bro.
You got to get rid of the
one.
one.
But check this out. Xbox One X. Why the X? Because Windows fucking 10. Mixer with the fucking X. Yes, it's all fucking there, people. Like, open your head. It's going to be Xbox One X. Deal with it. Don't deal with it. It doesn't matter what it's called.
Crap
because it's going to be fucking. It's going to be great. It's like Mixer, right? It's the shit's so much better than anything else. Who gives a shit what it's called?
Well, listen, I will say this.
It's not as bad a name too as people are at. Xbox One X. Like it's not that fucking bad.
It's not bad. No, dealer. There's nothing wrong with X. The problem
they're
with
not getting rid of the one though, Mooch. They're using the same case.
I know.
One game disc, one case.
I'll make my. I'd like to make a case for a show, but you're 110% correct. The one's not going anywhere, people. So we can all sit here and speculate and fantasize all we want. That's not going anywhere. But I mean, as far as the X, you know what I think the X is though, dealer? It's safe. It's super safe. And here's what I'm saying. Why are we being safe when you're telling me you're the best? If you're the best, you go out there. Look at Superman, the best comic book character of all time. He's wearing a skin-tight suit and a cape. Okay? No man wears that to work. But he's the best man. He's the Superman. So you look
here's the thing though, Mooch. Here's the problem, right?
I got fired.
Like
so.
Mooch, you like to compare everything to Apple. You're a big Apple fan, right?
Love
and
Apple.
They have sheep.
Oh, here we go.
Right?
Bad.
They will. That's
Preach
why they
on,
can get
crap.
away with. Hold on. This is why they can get away with doing that. Oh, let's not include this. Let's not include this. Why? Because they're gonna fucking buy it anyway, right? And that's
courage.
And Microsoft can't. That's not courage. That's having sheep. Microsoft does not have that luxury.
That's true.
Right?
That is true.
You got people that fucking hate your product, and you're trying to win them over. So you're gonna go, hey, we're just gonna do it what the fuck we want. No, you have to be as fucking clear and concise with this as you can fucking possibly be. You have to not confuse anybody. You can't fucking rename your console mid goddamn gen.
Right.
You can't fucking name it something that's
Crap
too
ain't
stupid.
fucking around today.
Holy
That's
You
on fire right now.
have to be
You are
up
not
this,
the
right?
father.
Yeah, exactly. You have
You are
to-
not the father.
You cannot do that. Like, I know what you're saying, Mooch, and like if they were Sony, they could probably get away with that shit.
Right.
But this is Microsoft.
Well,
I think it makes sense, man. Xbox One, and then they say you can step it up and get the One X.
Yes.
You know, I mean, they do it in PCs a lot. So I mean,
it works. But I mean, let me ask you guys. Let's put the shoe on the other foot for a minute, just for a minute, okay? Sony has the goal to come out and name it the PS4 Pro. If Microsoft does, it would be like, copying Apple, right? I mean, like it's like, okay, well, like. It's brilliant, right? Why can't Microsoft have the Pro, whatever their version of Pro would be?
They're not going to call it the Pro.
No. I said their version.
Because Apple weren't the first ones to throw a fucking letter on the end of a product when it was a kind of a refresh. You know, they weren't even close to the first ones to do that.
I mean, that's why a lot of people want to say the Elite, because there's already been, consoles that were dubbed Elite. You know what I mean? So,
but at the same time, people have already heard Xbox Elite, and that may not generate the buzz as something brand new, which is the only negative I can think of Elite. You know, but it all comes down to marketing. It could be called the best fucking name in the universe, and if they don't market it right and get the message out there, no one gives a shit.
Yeah,
that is true. That is true.
I don't care what it is. I just want it, and I want it. You know what I mean?
Well, I agree with Crap. I don't care what it is either, Crap. But I'm trying to be conscientious of the mess. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know when you see somebody at your house at a party, all of a sudden they put their beer right on the edge of the goddamn table, and you're like, I'm pretty sure they can handle it, but you walk by and you just move. Can you use the whole goddamn table, please? That's what it's there for. You can just see a mess may occur, and the name is so important. And the problem with Microsoft, for some reason, especially the Xbox guys, is the little details. The little details is what they always seem to miss. You put crown molding up in a room, and you just put it all over the room, and it looks fantastic. But if you don't connect the goddamn 4 little corners, it looks like shit. And that's the problem. Microsoft puts this elaborate gold crown molding up everywhere, and then they forget the corners. And that's the problem. They never, ever remember the details. And the name is something people say all the time. Because people say right now, you have PS4 or the Pro? They don't even say PS4 Pro. You have the Pro? It's like, what are people going to be like? You got the X? You got the X?
Well, you got the Xbox.
You say if you got the X, you got to stand in a corner one pant leg up. Come on.
You got the Xbox One or the One X? That's what I would say.
Well, yeah, but I mean that's me and you on a podcast. That's not like lingo.
But I would give them a little credit since they come out with the X1S because that thing did check all the boxes. Pretty well made. Light years ahead of the launch console.
I agree. Absolutely.
But if you are doing like the upgrade thing, it does make sense to do S, X, all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like non-complicated. Like people are kind of used to that with phones. So I don't know. Like to me, that does make a little bit of sense. You obviously can't call it the Pro, but call it the Xbox One X or whatever because they did that last gen with the 360. There was the 360 and then the S and then the E. Yeah.
I think it just kind of stuck with the whole like Xbox One thing because they're going to keep it in the family of devices, and it's really hard to add anything else to the end of that. And I think a letter is probably the best bet that they can really do, honestly.
Yeah, like Xbox One S sounds good, and people know that.
That's true. That's true. Yep. Let's get to the third category when we're talking about Scorpio here, and that's price. I think that we saw there was a rumor that came out, right, and everybody's talking about it. Now the number's magically $449.
Well, that was that one Rectify gaming site.
I
still think $399 because I've never seen a new console launch at a half point like that. Like,
and that's what people were telling me, 8 months ago, and I was saying I think it'll be $450. No, I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
Well, we've never seen this Microsoft before, so maybe it costs them $460 to make.
Look,
and they're like, what, we can do $450. We can lose $10. I don't.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing with the price, right? They need to get it at $399. Any other price point just doesn't make sense. The PS4, they're about to release a PS4 Slim for $249, right? The Pro is probably going to be reduced to $349. Yeah. If they tried selling the Scorpio at $449, while it is a good price, being $100 more than the Pro and $200 more than the regular PS4 ain't going to work out too swell for you.
Nope.
Well, they did say the S was going to sell the bulk, right? But keep in mind, people got to
lower that shit too.
Xbox One, it was $100 more expensive and considerably less powerful.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, they got to lower that.
This is
the
actually
Xbox
a
S
damn
as
good
well.
step up over the Pro for $100. It's kind of the opposite. But you know, they also need to be ultra aggressive here. They need to maybe even take a loss at $399 if they even have to do that. Get more of them out there. Make the money up on the back end with software.
Yeah, for all the discounts they've been doing on not advertising. Look, Sony's put what did that guy tweet us? $120+ million in advertising. How many exclusive games would that be? And I know people are going to go, but they've got plenty of exclusives. And I would challenge that to the day I die, saying no. I'm not talking about third-party shit that they get handed. I'm talking about Sony first-party shit. I would wager that Microsoft's first-party games this generation have been better than Sony's, because when you look at Sony and you look at what they've offered, it's stuff like Knack, it's stuff like Horizon Zero Dawn was good and Uncharted was good. Yeah, Drive Club was shit. The
Killzone was a 71.
Yeah, Killzone bad. Like, I will take the Gears and the Halos and the Forzas any day over those other games. You know what I mean? So they lucked out with getting some Japanese support. Great, but they haven't really done much else. And I think that Microsoft doesn't get the credit that they deserve for doing such a good job with the games that they've managed to put out this generation. Just in my opinion anyway. So.
No, that's a great opinion. And I mean, there's a story that came out a while ago that we found out back in the day when Xbox, the original OG Xbox was going to come out, right? They actually flirted with the fact that they were going to give it away. Remember that? I mean, there was something, right? And don't get me wrong, that's insane. But my point being is that if you're going to go as far as giving it away back then, could you just imagine? This is ridiculous. This is pie in the sky stuff. This is not real. But could you imagine if he just came out and said it was $300? Now you might go, Mooch, come on, let's leave the ridiculous.
Hey, Mooch.
But what $399 is not a crazy price. Go ahead.
$349.
I gotta
right?
ask you guys something,
Right.
and this goes back to something that Crap said when they actually unveiled the Scorpio. He tried to prepare people for what the media was going to do, and I believe one of the things he said was basically, and I'm not quoting him like line for line, but basically he said, be careful with the media in terms of the price, because they're going to try to blow this thing completely out of proportion. And I think they've done that, because if you look at the community, that price point thing always comes up, and it's something that the media asked, when it was unveiled and stuff like that, that was coming out this year. So last year's E3, then there was a bunch of articles. Well, how much could it be? Oh, 4K gaming. Oh, it's going to be so expensive. It's going to be so out of reach. They're the ones who created this hype. And now we have, we're over here like, well, about 400 or maybe 450 or 5 or what about 3? Dude, we have actually fed right into what they were doing. Do you guys see that? Yeah.
Well, yeah, and let me take it one step further, Xbox, because you're onto something. The minute Microsoft comes out, if that thing happens to be $449, I can already see that Damon Hatfield is wearing one. He's probably going to be wearing one of those what are the male rompers at the show. He'll probably be wearing one of those.
I ordered mine, by the way.
He'll be sitting there and he'll say, well, the Scorpio, Ryan, actually is a really powerful unit, but really, I can't tell the difference. And for 4K, I can get it for $100 cheaper on Sony's, right? And that's what they're going to say. Exactly, word for word.
Exactly what they're going to do, man. And that's why I think, craps onto the $399, and I think $399 as well. You have to be, because you're just that much closer to the Pro, right? If you're like $50, it's a much more manageable thing to do. But if you're at 100 plus, like, there's no way they're gonna be like, why get that when I can get the Pro?
Yeah, not only that, but you're gonna see deals where you trade in your S and get $200 off. Imagine that. You can get a 4K console for $200 out the door. You know what I mean?
Oh, my goodness.
That to me is going to be absolutely phenomenal. You know what? I can't wait till like all the crow that's going to be eaten, because right now I have not seen this amount of troll activity from not only PS4 but PC dudes in a long time, right? Yeah. Just they are convinced that the Xbox Scorpio is not doing 4K. Right. And I got to tell you what, like I've heard, and I know that like people, Jez is in the chat and stuff like that, that Microsoft really wanted to do, and they are going to be able to show some stuff with Battlefront 2. It's not a lockdown deal as you might think with Sony. Like Microsoft is going to be able to show some of that. So that's going to be a real showcase piece for Scorpio, because it's native 4K 60 FPS, and that's a Frostbite engine game. So that's going to look absolutely amazing, and hopefully that's going to push some people to kind of to get it. You know what I mean? And we got somebody from Brazil in there. What's up? We love the Brazilians.
Well, while we're talking about the Brazilians, I do want to take a second and actually say, by the gracious God, Southbound is donating a 12-month Xbox Live Gold. and we're going to be giving it away during the show today. I did mention it, and we're not going to forget about it.
I'll take it, South.
I was going to say, yeah. Unfortunately, panel members are excluded.
Mother
Damn.
Mel's like, damn it, and this is the week you have me on.
Yeah.
But no, Sal, thank you so much. And listen, we're going to do this. I'm going to ask a question, and then the first in the chat to answer it, we're going to do the question sometime around 8:40 p.m. Eastern time.
Answer in the chat or.
Well, the reason I'm saying chat is because DM works real funny, and I don't want to exclude anybody. So if I don't have someone for some reason followed, it's not fair to them if they don't get their answer into me first. If anyone's got a better idea, I'm open for ideas. But I think at least the chat is everybody that's listening currently live and happens to be active.
I got a better idea. Yo,
Hit me.
South, just send me the code.
They spell it wrong. I get it.
Hey, I already sent it to the fucking Mooch. So
Yeah, he did
motherfucker.
actually. Yeah, I used it. You're gonna get an IOU code from me, the winner. But
This IOU is for a Lamborghini.
Yeah,
You might
it's
want to
for-
hold on to that one.
it's a half an hour membership to hanging out with Mooch and one-liners. Yeah. So listen, guys. No, this is
And a
that
Mooch T-shirt.
You get a Mooch. Yeah, J-Dubs, where are you with those T-shirts? No, I really think that we have to talk about that. I mean, Scorpio is a big deal, but the problem is the media is giving Sony credit already. And let's turn our page over to the next day, which will be Sony's E3.
Wait. I need to get
go
my
ahead.
2 cents in.
Oh,
on
no,
this
go ahead, Mel. You just jump in.
whole price. I think that back in 2013 when the Xbox One launched, the price was $500 with a Connect, right?
Yep.
But inflation and this, that, and the other, and people are really picky about price and what they want to pay. Now, if you look at it this way, the Scorpio is going to be just as good as a gaming PC, right? Maybe not. I don't know. But you have to look at it in the aspect of we have a lot of up and coming gamers too. Whether it's Xbox One or they're going to be playing on Scorpio or something like that, you're going to have PC quality. I can't afford a $999 PC. I would love a gaming rig. I can't afford it. So I think those are things to think about as far as price goes. And I honestly think it would be about $449 because if they sell themselves short in the beginning, what's that going to say? Like, they're going to end up losing money in the long run if they're going to sell themselves short.
Listen, I think $449 at this point in time, and I'm saying this, and I hope somebody from Microsoft's listening if they got like a pencil in their hand. I'm talking about a number 2 pencil with an eraser still. You got to get rid of that 4. That 4's got to go. You put $449, it's shot in the foot because I'm telling you right now, Mel, every post show from here to Chinatown is going to say the same thing. They're going to say, listen, too expensive. I can get the same.
Not only that,
thing
but then
for $349.
somebody's going to close the show going, here's our Pro officially now $349.
Yep.
Yeah.
That would be
And that's
cheaper.
listen, let me tell you something, Mel, you made a point. You said to me, I like the way that Xbox One first with $500 was not a big deal for me. Okay, you got a lot of merchandise in that box. I didn't have a problem paying $500, but all of a sudden Sony kicks the camera out of their box. It's $100 cheaper. They're going to do the
premium
same
product.
I agree.
Well,
they're gonna do the same
they
thing to us.
also keep saying that they shouldn't be calling it that because look, premium just means it's going to be better quality than what's already out there, and the Xbox One S is going to go down to $250 because they obviously have to do that to match the Pro.
But they have options out there. You have the Xbox One S.
Well, they're
and then
not
you have
making the
Scorpio.
Xbox One anymore. Those all that are left of those are like ones that are left in warehouses and stuff.
Okay.
So,
but they still have options. So, when it comes to like holidays and whatnot and sales and things, they're going to be able to put it on sale. But to put it out there with a little bit of a higher price point, that's not that much more.
well, I
It's
get
really
that,
not.
but when you're talking $100 or $200 more than your competitors who's kicking your ass, and your business isn't to try to sell consoles. Realistically, their business is to sell their services and their games, which is what Microsoft is all about right now. So you could definitely see them kind of take a loss or try to get that as close to the Pro price point as possible, which is why. And also, you've never seen a console launch at a half midpoint like that, like $449 or anything. It's always like $299, $399, $499.
Fine, then $400. I will go with $400. But I think that they should go a little bit higher and then lower it for holidays. And obviously, if they're going to have in like some type of trading credits, this, that, and the other, they're gonna want to make a little bit off of it. You know,
See,
they're
now,
not gonna just
Mel-
like giving it away for free.
Mel, what you're saying makes sense, and I know where you're coming from because listen, nobody walks up and buys a car and sees that this tag on it is 30,000 and goes, "I'll take it." Right? The minute you see 30,000, you're like, "I'm going to swindle this son of a bitch down another $5 grand." So I hear you. I hear you.
I want to ask you guys if you remember back when they had the Xbox launch and then the PlayStation, PS3, and Xbox One, right? I think it was PS4 actually. Right. First of all, the Xbox was more expensive, and then all the ponies were like, "Oh, that's more expensive," right? Then they switched it where the PlayStation was more expensive. They were like, "Oh, it's a better product because it's more expensive." This like it was like this whole argument back and forth of contradictions. So I think it really just depends on the consumer base and how much faith that they have in the product.
Same
Well,
reason
it's
they don't care about Blu-ray now, right?
Yeah, it's
they don't got
damage control. Like one side's going to damage control the other. Like PS3, I never looked at that and said, "Damn, that's so expensive because it's much more quality." I looked at that and said, "Damn, what a ripoff!" You know what I mean? Like you're paying more for a console that's performing worse than the 360. That was a big problem. Scorpio isn't going to have the problems with the Pro. Did you guys hear the game Prey on the Pro? It stutters. Like Digital Foundry recommended the Xbox One version over the PS4 Pro and the PS4 version.
Holy
Think about
shit.
that.
Hell
Think about
has
that,
frozen
right?
over,
Yeah.
people.
Think about that.
I think it's important to remember too. Before the Neo, right, the Pro came out, people were saying that was going to be $700, and they were blown away when it was $399. So it's not as expensive to do this stuff as people think. Honestly, they're not really paying for the GPU power this year. They waited a year; that power has come down in price. They're paying for that faster hard drive and that extra 4 gigs of RAM.
Yeah, I think Microsoft is just like propping it up, saying premium and all this stuff.
Yeah,
so
because premium, when you say premium, it's like it does things like sugar on top features. Like, for instance, if it does Bluetooth, which is a rumor. If it does Bluetooth, which is a rumor, that's kind of like that's what I would consider an example of maybe why it's more premium. That 7,200 RPM hard drive, much faster load times, a little bit more premium, right? It feels better to play. Maybe the materials are better. Maybe it's just made better. I don't know, but Crap nailed it. Phil said maybe I shouldn't use the word premium. He's going after the hardcore. The guys that know what a titty flop is, you know. So it is what it is.
Listen, I'll tell you, and shout out to Colt Eastwood who's in the chat. Listen,
Clint Eastwood, what's up?
He made a point though. He goes, he's a little bit iffy on the $399 price tag because he says the Xbox One S launched at 2 terabytes last year at $399. That's a good point. However, I will answer it this way, Colt. My answer to that is this: I think that Microsoft takes the hit and they make this thing $399 because of one reason: they have to. They have to.
Yeah, because it's all about the software at this point.
All about the image. Day one.
Cup holders and a Lamborghini is an option. Doesn't mean it costs them that much to do that, right? Right. It's just an option, and they know they can get more out of you. You always stack it on. If you want the extra hard drive and the extra this or that, they're making several times more.
And we wonder why. Why they're not advertising and stuff. They could have invested, instead of spending that $120 million like Sony on marketing rights, they could have invested that and given us a cheaper product at launch. I mean, we don't know what they're thinking, but I'm sure that the price is something that they've really kind of looked into quite a bit. You know what I mean? And then also,
though, they don't have a price. They don't have a choice. They got to compete.
Yeah, they do. And not only that, but another thing that kind of hints at maybe the release date is the fact that Shadow of War got delayed till October 10th, which we were hearing October launch date anyway due to like the Redstone 3 stuff.
When's that Redstone 3 thing, Crap? So people can kind of is that bookmarked yet?
Be like late September, right?
Yeah, it's late September. So.
Okay, so October 10th is a tentative date for release. Everyone was telling me that it was late October for that Redstone thing.
No, it's like September, sometime like that. And I had heard from multiple people that it was going to be that they were going to try to release it in October, but because everybody was going November, and that would be too late in my opinion. You want to get that out so you can get your games out and you can play the Assassin's Creeds, all that stuff. Your Call of Duties, your Battlefronts, even your Destiny. I mean, I'm sure they probably had considered that, but you don't want to leave, that on the floor like that. You just want to be like, okay, we got to get this fucking thing out as soon as possible. And they're also talking about releasing it like in a lot more places than the Xbox One launched, right? Like it's going to launch in China. They said Brazil, like all these places going to launch in. So
that will make the leader of the Brazilians very happy.
The leader of the Brazilians, my boy Henrique. Yeah, that dude is the leader of the Brazilians. He is, dude. He's a straight pit man. He gets like almost, he gets more gamer score in a month last month than Rand. So,
Wow.
and you know that dude's dedicated to Xbox, wears a crap gamer piston on a PS4 shirt to a fucking conference. Who does that? That's insane, but I love it, man. You gotta love that, like that's passion.
Well, crap, let me speak about passion. We've been talking about it for 3 years, okay? And now it's like rumored to be happening, and actually there is something in black and white that says it's happening. You did a video on it. People are wondering, and they're writing me, what's this thing between Microsoft and Sega? And is it something that people should be excited about? Or is it something so small again where we're going to get basically like a mobile game from Sega on Xbox One?
Well, I think it's bigger than what people are assuming because Sega has a lot of franchises that are dormant. And Sega recently they said, hey, we're going to invest $500 million into expanding. We're going to do sequels to our beloved franchises. We're going to do new IP, right? So they went out and they got partnerships with different companies, Microsoft being one of them. And this went kind of unannounced, right? Like maybe it's a secret or whatever, but Sega and Microsoft have always had a pretty good relationship, even going back to the Dreamcast. Windows CE was the operating system. And originally, the president of the Sega, when they stopped doing the Dreamcast, wanted to make a converter for the original Xbox that played Dreamcast games. Yeah. So they also gave an exclusivity deal with the Xbox. So there was like a handful of games that were exclusive on the original Xbox that were Sega made games, Jet Grind Radio, Panzer Dragoon, Shenmue 2. These games were all exclusive on the Xbox.
Are we going to see any of this on the stage?
I would think if they have something, that this is something that could show up on the stage and it would be pretty big. And I'm like, why isn't anybody really talking about this? So I would hope that it's something. Just look at this.
They could have a CGI trailer or something, And
like you're gonna see I've heard it there's gonna be surprises there. So there's gonna be surprises. It's gonna
be awesome, people.
Yes, like people that are just going, oh well, there's not gonna be anything surprised.
What is it that Phil said? What was the words? I don't have his tweet up. What did he say? He didn't use epic. He said this is one of the most.
It's gonna be impressive. He said it's gonna be one of the more interesting ones. It's
because he has a show. He's got a bunch of different things. And all
it's that. Look, there's no Halo. They're gonna be there. There's no Gears that are gonna be there. But hell, we're gonna get a hell of a Gears update free next week. I'm just saying that thing looks awesome.
Yeah, what's the deal? What that Horde? Was it Rise of the Horde? What is that?
Yeah,
Carmine, bro.
It's like a big old everything, man. New achievements and everything. So
is it only Horde mode that's getting it? The update?
Yeah, it's like it's like some kind of Horde deal or whatever. I'm not 100%.
Well, I'm up for it because people always hit me up. Shout out to Bam and his Seagulls. He's always hitting me up. He's a caw. He's always hitting me so goddamn late. He'll hit me up at 1 a.m. Eastern time, and he's East Coast. And he's like, dude, quick Horde. 4
hours later.
4 hours later, maybe you're at level 43. I don't even know where. So I would like something different to come from Horde to get me back into it. I did the Horde on the I don't know if it was Insane or Hardcore, got to 50, and then I can't see doing that for the other 80 maps. So I want something new with Horde because Horde is fun as hell. I will say that much. Hoping it's something
what
big.
Is the deal? They said new loot drops. That has nothing to do with microtransactions.
Here's what it is. It says Horde is getting a massive shakeup with the arrival of Rise of Horde. 15 brand new Horde skills, 3 per class. Level 6 skills, loot drops, tuning changes, and new difficulty levels. 15 skills arriving in Rise of the Horde focus on providing new ways to specialize the way you play your class. The Scout has new abilities like Cloak to turn invisible. Let's see. While heavies can take the Berserker and Last Stand skills to deal more and take more damage with heavy weapons as they get lower on health. Let's see. This is just a taste of what's to come. In addition, defeating bosses now comes with rewards. Each boss wave you defeat at wave 30, 40, and 50 will drop a singular random Horde skill. Harder difficulties increase the likelihood of a rare drop, so challenge yourself for the best chance at high quality. It's also getting a free trial, like a 10-hour free trial.
What is it gonna? It's gonna cost money?
No, it's completely free update.
Right, that's what I thought. Okay, when you said free trial, I was
there's a free trial for Gears of War 4 overall. They're offering everybody a 10-hour trial of the game, so you can, including the entire first act of the campaign, and access to Horde and Versus. So you get the first act, which I don't know if that's going to sell very many people on it, but still, it's going to be good. 20 new achievements for 500 gamer score as well.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
this is making me sad, guys.
New
I think
maps.
the multiplayer will help like sell the game. To be honest. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's-
They're bringing back Avalanche and Rust Lung, so those are two good maps.
Sweet.
Avalanche was one of my favorite. Used to like get snowed in and stuff like that. So
You know
Nice.
what's funny? I mean, a lot of this stuff is coming out before E3, so E3 is not going to be about that. It's all going to be about new things or items we haven't seen. But let's talk about something crap that you mentioned in one of your videos. Is I think
you
it
have
was
to be more specific.
yeah. Well, I'm getting there. You're talking about Project Dylan, and that's the BioWare game.
Yeah.
What do we know anything about? I mean, is this truly going to be a Microsoft marketing rights? Are we going to get some exclusivity?
Marketing rights. So EA is not going to give anything exclusive, so it's going to be marketing rights. But it is a new BioWare by the A team of BioWare,
Right.
instead of the fanboy team
And
that did Mass Effect. Yeah.
Southie, are you hearing anything? Because I know you talked to our good friend Phil. Like they are.
You keep asking Southie like he would tell you.
Yeah, right.
Come on, now.
Hey, man, hey,
Spill the beans,
honestly,
motherfucker.
even if I did know, I couldn't say nothing.
I'm putting those old school hot lamps on you that used to keep burgers warm in the 80s. Listen,
Yeah.
my whole thing is this. I'm wondering if we know Xbox is going to show up at Gamescom this year, and I think they're going to have a big showing there. This kind of ties into E3 because whenever they do the Gamescom thing and they want to make a presence there, they don't like show all their eggs that they got at E3. The rumor is that the Tomb Raider, right? Tomb Raider is going to be at Gamescom and maybe have some exclusive rights again, maybe not the full year, but something. Have you heard anything? Have you even caught wind of that?
No, I don't know. I think the last game kind of put a bad taste in their mouth, so I wouldn't bank on it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you as far as the way that things went south. No,
Am I the only one with Tomb Raider? Like, I want them to do the same fucking deal again,
Yes,
man, and
I do
want to
too.
see everybody flip the fuck out. Like, I
would
love
too.
it, man.
They
I love
would.
it. You know,
With
what,
correct.
1 year,
did them, you know what I mean? It was really messed up how they announced it, like way before the game even came out.
Yeah, that's
like,
messed
by the
up.
way, yeah. So it pissed a lot of people off because I was up in Redmond when they actually announced that, and to see some of the faces when they heard, they were pretty let down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was kind of lame. But then again, like when you had the Sony fans like threatening people and harassing people, and like the media was piling on it too. I remember Jeff Keighley was like harassing Greenberg on Twitter. How long is it going to be? Is it just a timed exclusive or is it an exclusive? Like he was just badgering the shit out of him on Twitter, and you know what I mean. So, and that's a shame because you never see that with the other way around. Like
But
nobody
they
ever.
weren't really clear on that though. They said exclusively on Xbox One, and you can't blame them, man, because they didn't give the information out themselves. So somebody's got to get it.
But they have a time deal like this Crash Bandicoot stuff. There's a lot of
Yeah, but they didn't say that
that's
at the
gonna be.
time. Like at the time, they said it's coming exclusively to Xbox One. Like they didn't
This
mention
holiday, this holiday exclusively.
exclusively to Xbox One this holiday. They didn't say, "Oh, for this holiday, it's exclusive." You know, they mixed the words around.
Yeah, well, they just do what Sony did, but maybe a little bit better.
I think both companies should be hammered for that. Any kind of not clear marketing and not clear communication should be hammered into the ground.
good point. Good point.
Well, yeah, I mean,
before,
I agree, but sometimes you got to fight fire with fire, in my opinion.
but you know what though?
Use
Crap,
real
but
fire.
crap,
They do
crap.
better with real fire at this
But
point.
wait a minute. If I'm on stage, if I'm on stage and I'm not Phil Spencer, the other Phil that actually announced it, who's not with them anymore on that retrospect, but wouldn't it sound just as good to be like, and Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider coming exclusively to Xbox One for 1 year? That's a mic drop.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you could have just said that and avoided all that bad press that came for 6 months.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like, why have exclusive holiday kind of a little later, a little after St. Nick leaves, a little after you drop the Utah. It's
No,
like,
you
what happened?
almost got to come out, Mooch, and tell them flat out, we helped develop this. We helped fund
Right,
it.
we
They
gave them
needed
money.
money.
Yes.
That you almost have to say that now. Because
Yes.
if they would have just said it's launching this year only on Xbox One, the first thought is those motherfuckers. You know,
Right.
like
That's
they're
true.
holding it off my console.
That's true.
They have to say, well, we helped fund the game. It wouldn't exist.
And that's what Sony's doing with Shenmue 3. They're saying we're funding part of it. We're helping them. And, yeah, exactly. That's a good point.
That game's been MIA for a couple of years, though. We don't even hear it.
That guy's always held up by the people asking him where the fuck Shenmue 3 is. Remember? Everywhere I go.
Quit asking me so I can work on it.
Shenmue 3.
I'm telling you right now. Shout out to Zaire. That's great.
Hey, there's a lot of people that put money into that Kickstarter, so.
Yo, I'm telling you right now, that is going to be one hot pile of trash. You can guarantee it.
It'll remind a lot of people.
If it wasn't, it would have already been out already.
Well, I don't know. Look at The Last Guardian. That took a decade. That was a shit stain.
Hey, people,
yo, guys, before
great reviews though.
What got great reviews?
Guys, just before whatever. Before we get too far away from this Gears thing, I want to shout out to all my Halo fans, and I said I was sad when I saw this this update coming, because with what they're doing with Gears and how they're really committing to supporting that game, and I know it's a different development team, but that and Halo Wars 2. Guys, I'm sorry to say, I feel like Halo 5 is not going to get any more content, and it is a sad day for me when I saw what they're doing with Gears. I know Crap is a big Gears fan. I understand, man, but it is a sad day for me because I still wanted, even though they gave me so much with Halo 5, I still wanted more, man.
That's what I was about to say. Like, that game is pretty old, and they gave you a lot, man.
A couple years after it came out. So.
I can still bitch about it, yeah.
Yeah, they actually gave you more content than what they originally stated. They were like, we're going to give content for the first.
I think they're going to give you one more piece of content you'll like, and that's a day one patch for Scorpio.
Yeah, that's Kiki giving me the middle finger on Twitter. Exactly. When she hears that, she's like,
you'll probably see this. Here's their announcement.
She would. She'd be like, fuck.
Their 343 is going to be at E3. They're going to be like, okay, here's the Halo Wars 2 DLC that you're getting, yay! And they're gonna be like, and here's Halo 5 running 4K 60 on Scorpio and crossplay with PC, guys. Woo!
Yeah! Oh,
yeah. Now get your ass kicked by people with mouse and keyboard.
Crap's so salty.
Woo!
Dude, I do not want that to happen, man. I don't. I hope they
I don't
really
think you can actually enable that on a first-person shooter, but I wouldn't put it past them. Like, they try to do that shit. Like, I wouldn't doubt that they go, hey, you can get Halo, it's now a cross-buy or whatever, something. They'll pull some shit like that.
Well, listen, speaking of things that are just unfair, Xbox a little pissed off about that. Let me tell you what I'm a little pissed off at. If Microsoft had the rights to Red Dead 2 and then they were not going to show up, here we go, guys. Play the recording. Xbox done. It's over. They can't even show up. Someone revoked their plane tickets. And now, all of a sudden, you've got Sony, right? That's not going to be on their stage. Don't worry about it. Got plenty of info here. We got Battlefront 2.
Did you hear what that Reiner guy said from, what the hell was that? The hell's that damn publication you get? Game Informer?
Yeah.
He said that Sony's got the best lineup he's ever seen on the stage.
So he wasn't there last year, right? Because it's the same thing we're going to see this year is what they showed last year. Because they showed us last year what's coming out for the next 8 years. So we're just going to see it again.
Hey, dude, I'm only telling you what that dude said, man. He said.
But how does he know?
Because this is his exact tweet. Sony's lineup of E3 games may be the best I've ever seen from a publisher at the show. The list is just wow. ...
Meanwhile, a picture was taken of him while he was quoted saying that he was holding a Sony koozie. Listen, the whole thing is that he's just he's on the Sony romper. He's got some. He's in. These guys are all in Sony's bed for some reason. I don't know why. Like I said, the memoir will come out ages from now, but there's something going on. E3 2017 will be, and I quote, a mirror of 2016 for Sony. Sans, Battlefront, you'll have Battlefront 2 and you'll have COD World War II. Except for those two games.
What you need is a whistleblower for like a deep throat. Hey, it's all true. They all love Sony. I can prove it. You gotta bring it down like that. You just gotta. That's what you need. Like this is a guy who's just like, wow, it's awesome. It's a simple fact. The games that Sony still has in development, it's gonna be amazing. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Well, think about it, guys. So Crap already went down the list, so I'm not going to bore anybody, but I'm just going to really quick. Days Gone, Detroit, God of War, The Last of Us 2, Spider-Man. All those games were shown last year. None of them are in your homes, folks. None of them are in your homes. So my point being with that is you're going to see them all again. What do you think? Do you think Sony's going to show you 8 more new games and leave those off the table that you saw, Death Stranding and all that? No, you're going to see Death Stranding, The Last of Us. You're going to see Detroit. You're going to see Spider-Man. You're going to see Days Gone. You're going to see the same thing, and they're going to be like, and now here comes Sean Layden in his XXX small. He's going to tell us a little bit more about Battlefront 2 that'll also be on Scorpio.
You know, Mooch,
like, okay,
not for anything, but on social media, King Neutral has come out because you got people kind of like trying to hype up E3 Sony press conference, and you guys know we have a couple PS4s in the house. I do want to see new games drop this year for the PS4. There's games I want to play, especially Spider-Man. I want Spider-Man to come out this year. But the thing is, like, I look at it King Neutral style, like the amount of delays for exclusive games on the Sony platform this generation has been absolutely ridiculous. And even though we have PS4s in the house, I cannot get thoroughly excited for anything they show until it's actually on the shelf. Like, I can't do it because I have no idea when it's coming out.
Let me read you this guy's tweet again. This is supposed to be an unbiased journalist. So he's like, Days Gone, Death Stranding, Detroit Dreams, Gran Turismo, God of War, Knack 2, Spider-Man, The Last of Us 2, Uncharted. And someone's like, oh my God, Knack 2. And he responds, that game is surprisingly fun, like legit fun. Check out my preview from PSX. Like, I mean, like, you cannot get this kind of shit. You know what I mean? Somebody's like really, like, this, so the same stuff as last year. Zing. You know what I mean? Like, again, this isn't like a great lineup in my opinion.
Less orchestra this time around, though. You know what I'm saying?
There's going to be a huge
no,
orchestra.
listen, that's right, boy. You guys want to see some industrial light and magic? Tune into Sony's event, please. Tune in. Bring your 3D glasses, everybody. It's going to be wild.
Watch it in VR because that would be sweet.
It will be. You can see Sean Layden.
Speaking of industrial light and magic, it's about giveaway time, Mooch.
It is just about giveaway time. Good point. All right. So here we go.
We should get some of those likes up first.
Well, I would like to
see some of the likes.
Mel's right. We should hold it ransom. I got to be honest with you. You know, here's what's funny. So I've recently been asking people to please sub the channel, and you guys have been doing it. I got to say, I'm up almost 200 people in about a month. That's a lot because I never used to ask. And thank you. I think that is a huge deal. I never realized how much like reminding people to actually press the button helps. So hit that like, but we've had well over 400 people in this room for quite some time. Shout out to Mega Bad Side.
They don't hit the damn like button.
Guys, we can't turn into George Jetson, okay? It's a button you press. It's not that hard, okay?
Hey, South, I see the picture you posted next to the people from 343, Kiki and what's her name? They're both taller than you.
Hey, I'm sure, bro. It's all good.
Oh no! I thought that they were like incredibly tall.
He's like, no, I just walk around swimming parks all day. It's no big deal.
I'm 5'6", bro, so I'm short.
Oh, okay. Gotcha, bro.
So
That's
great.
funny.
That's so great. Well, listen, here's what we'll do. I'll explain everything again, guys. We have an Xbox Live year-long, 12-month, donated by our boy Southbound and Down. He's giving it up. I'm going to ask a question momentarily. We made it since Mel made that comment. We're up 35 likes, so that's huge.
Yeah, there we go.
But listen, I'm gonna give a question. It's based off of my Friday the 13th review, so it goes out to the true Mooch maniacs that click on everything that I make, all the content. I appreciate that. All right, so I'm going to ask the question now. First person to answer it in the chat is going to get the 12-month, and I'm going to do my best, my very best to catch the winner. I'll be glued to it. So, Crap, I'm going to ask you to actually talk about something after I ask the question so I can actually watch the chat for a minute. I did mention in my Friday the 13th review which of the Friday the 13th movies is my favorite one. The first person who can say which one is my favorite movie of all of them gets the 12 months. So I'll be paying attention to that. Definitely not that one, but it was entertaining. That was entertaining. That was entertaining, dealer. I like it.
You see him picking some people up and smacking them on trees with sleeping bags.
Yeah, and you know what's cool is I make a little cameo on that review too, because you can see he's spectating me at one point. When I get some kills.
Well, we have a winner already.
Nice.
We have a wiener.
We have a winner. It is Jacomist.
I saw that. Good job, man.
He probably just guessed too.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Well, if he guessed, he nailed it.
Look at all the numbers. Just flying by.
He's a mooch maniac. So
Is he?
come on.
Okay. Well,
I
hey,
guess,
listen.
I don't know.
He's a mooch.
Oh, yeah.
Crap just threw that out there with absolutely no. He didn't even know what he-
Possibly a mooch maniac. I don't know.
Jacomus, do me a favor. All right, hit me up on Twitter at Mooch1978, and then if I don't have you already, I'll make sure we can DM each other, and I already have the code, so I'll send it to you immediately. So, that's awesome, bro. Way to fucking that dude. Like that was no joke. Like it just hit. It just hit.
Well, Mooch, not for anything, man. You're
Not for anything,
not for anything, man. But that was the quality review. I'm not saying that just because you're a BGST brother of mine or anything like that. I thoroughly enjoyed the review. I just think you went 0.5 higher than where I would have gone with that review, man.
Well, shut the hell up, bot.
I can't wait to hear what Kraft's review is because I want to hear his number. And actually, I wouldn't even mind hearing GKB's because GKB was I think GKB is completely been very, very clear on his stance of Friday the 13th. But I hate to put things to a numerical, but it does kind of put in perspective like this, plus minus of 0.5 where you kind of stand. GKB, are you guys doing a formal review or do you want to reveal your number?
We're streaming it after the show.
We are streaming it after the show, which is very, very cool. I'm looking forward
honestly, I don't really do like a formal number. I just buy, rent, or flush that shit down, so that kind of thing. But
in this case,
if I was gonna give it a number, I'd probably give it like around a 7.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's
Maybe
very
higher if it worked.
That's
what I
small
said.
team. That's what people say. They say, yeah, it's a small team, and they're still working on it. But my thing is, it should have been done when they released it. Why not push it back? You know what I'm saying? So I think it would have helped.
Then everybody would complain and be like, "Oh, you
well,
guys said it was going to be out."
Now they're going to get complaints even worse. So
now they
and
get
the
it from
sales are
both
going to
ends.
suffer.
Oh yeah,
Yo, guys,
absolutely.
not for anything. I looked over the shoulder of Snaps when she was on Discord for Friday 13th. Yo, the backers on there, man. I would have been intimidated as a developer to say, we're holding this back for a little while as well, because that Discord, man, they would get on the devs' asses like nothing.
But then she went and got on their asses because it wasn't done. So you lose either way if you're a developer, really.
True that, man.
Real quick, I want to bring up one more quick subject before we leave because we are talking about streaming after the show. And by the way, Jacoma6, do me a favor, at Mooch1978, hit me up on Twitter so I can DM you that code. But is streaming the new podcasting? I mean, my phone is going off like mad all day. So-and-so's broadcasting, so-and-so's broadcasting with so-and-so. I'm like, what the hell's going on? I mean, I feel like, is this what Microsoft had planned? Because if it is, it's working. And I don't think this is a fad. I don't think this is a quick thing. I think people want to be vocal. I think people want to talk to an audience. My one thing, honestly, that I'll say about streaming that I've noticed over the years, let me change that to over the weeks. Pardon me. Usually I'm talking about like something at work, but like over the weeks is like, I love talking to the audience. If anyone hasn't noticed that, I think that this show is for the people. Okay. It really is. They're the one. Well, they tune in, right? If without them, it's just the 5 of us talking to each other. We might as well just hop on Xbox Live. So, I mean, my point is that like, I like to talk, and I feel like sometimes with streaming, we're playing a game, okay? You have to concentrate. And this even goes for Rad Brad. Sometimes he'll go a good minute without talking because he's concentrating on the game. And
it's hard.
It's hard, so it depends. Like, so sometimes I feel like I'll take myself out of the game to talk to the audience, or someone will say, hey, Mooch, we want to hear more of you, and then I can't play the game. So do you guys find that to be anywhere near as conflicting as I do? I'm going to start with Mel. Mel, you do a lot of streaming too. Like, do you because you really do cater to the audience too when you're doing your shows. Do you find that conflicting that you can't concentrate and talk at the same time? Sometimes the game makes you concentrate.
Yeah, sometimes I do find myself like I end up screwing up because I'm looking at the chat, but I think they understand when you take that moment to actually concentrate on the game, because I noticed myself getting lost, and like I was playing Horizon Zero Dawn, totally forgot I was streaming because I was so into the game, and then I was like, oh shit, I'm sorry guys. But, I try to respond to them, but at the same time, they want to see you progress too, so it's not a problem.
Yeah. I agree. Like, I think when you're streaming and stuff and you start getting into that tunnel vision into the game,
Yeah.
I think the audience is also getting into that tunnel vision because they want you to succeed and,
Definitely.
and progress into the story and see what's going on. So, yeah, I think it's really cool.
And then if you pay attention to the chat, they'll tell you, "Hey, why are you so quiet?" You know what I mean?
Yeah. They'll wake up.
But no, it is hard to try to stream while you're playing. You know, because you want to keep your
it's a
audience
talent,
engaged at the same time, but you're trying to keep yourself in the game too. So
Yeah, you don't have entertain us, asshole.
It's a tightrope. You know?
It's true. I mean, it's kind of like rubbing your head and patting your belly and chewing bubble gum at the same time. It's not that you can't do it, but you actually got to put your mind to it. And, a lot of times when I can't speak for everybody. I'm only speaking for myself. But when I put that controller in my hand and I kick my feet up, this is why I'm a console gamer, okay? And I'm not a PC guy. It's not that I don't respect the PC. I do. I just personally, I work at a PC all day. I really don't want to come home and sit at a desk. So I like to play on the TV. You put your feet up, you actually relax. And when you're playing with your friends, you're cutting back, you're having a drink, you're chilling. Everybody's kind of like the language gets even more foul than it does on YouTube. And it's just it's just fun, right? So my point being is that then all of a sudden you look over the corner and you're like, holy shit, there's 52 people here. You know what I mean? It's like, do you imagine just be like, I need a little air. I'm going to open the window. And all of a sudden there's 52 people staring into your window when you open the shade. It's crazy. So
I mean, it is crazy, Mooch, but I mean, at the same time, like I consider a lot of those guys friends from the community. You know?
Absolutely.
They know us like every day for the podcast and everything, and they just.
I'm making a bit of it, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, you're 100% right. The people that are in there are usually calm, cool, and collective, and they're usually asking some decent questions and enjoying what we're playing. But I mean, it is kind of. It's different, right? I mean, everyone's got to admit because it's new to all of us, right? I mean, it's crazy.
That's one really cool thing about Xbox One. Really, a lot of people, some people had a problem with the follower system, but like last night was my first time ever streaming. Right, I decided to just fuck around the Forza, test it on the new internet, whatnot. It works great. Bing works flawlessly, and people were jumping in there. And I don't even know how many followers I have. I don't even know how it works. But because of, I'm talking about on Bing or Mixer, by the way.
Right.
But just because they're following me, they get a notification and people just join, right?
Yeah, man.
Yes.
And it's just really cool in that fact that when you're building a social media on Xbox, that will be notified when you're streaming, regardless of your follower count on Mixer. It's all integrated. I don't think they have that on PlayStation, do they?
They have like Twitch.
They have a YouTube app.
I mean,
that's
they don't have
amazing.
followers. They don't have followers though, do they on there?
No.
No.
Yeah, you can, well,
Well,
I
you
don't know
have
if they set a
Twitch, and then it's
notification,
YouTube, and then there's Daily Motion, but it's not the same as Mixer. No.
Yeah, like they don't have followers like you do on Xbox.
Yeah, you can
What's
follow.
the other one that you can stream to? I forget the name of it. Damn it.
I know I
For
appear
which one?
offline on PS4 because if I don't, I get like a million messages telling me to like do bad things to myself.
That's what sucks. Because actually, I like the actually. I always say that about PlayStation. There's just like there seems to be no activity on there, but it's a lot of the times because a lot of the people that I'm friends with on there are offline.
I have a Crap Gamer Reviews like page because you could kind of do like the group, like the like on Xbox One they have clubs. They have something sort of like that on PS4, and I have a Crap Gamer Reviews one, but I don't go on there because the trolls are firmly in control.
Listen, here's my thing. I do want to say this though. I got to give Friday the 13th some credit, and it's the reason we're probably doing it again tonight. For the audience and for the people watching the stream, there's something about Friday the 13th that's unique to almost every other game. Because it's Jason and the way that the game has the same exact sound and music and it's the motion cap from the actual Jason character. That's pretty goddamn cool. I've noticed people stick around for Friday the 13th games longer than most. Because after you watch, like let me use Mel's example, like you're streaming Horizon, right? If you're streaming Horizon on PlayStation 4, it's I mean, after like 10, 12 minutes of hiding in the grass and waiting for the the Velociraptor to come up to you, you're kind of like, all right, I've seen everyone do this 80 million times, and then like Crap will say you run into a guy who's just laying down and be like, I've got a bum leg. It hurts. Can you please? It's a bum leg. And you're like, all right, I gotta get it going. There's something I gotta go grocery shopping. I gotta get the mail. I gotta mow the lawn. I gotta get out of here. After a while you can't. But the Friday the 13th series is a fantastic game to stream, and it really keeps the audience in tune. It's like watching a horror movie. So I do got to give credit where credit's due. I think they got something there. I would like to say to Gun Media, please, God, fix the game, make it really great, because I think you got something on your hands, and you're going to lose an audience that you don't want to let go of, especially through the course of the summer.
You know, Mooch, when it comes to like the streaming and stuff like that, I called it when they started talking about like having the game DVR and the systems and stuff like that. I was calling this generation, this is the content creators generation. So you're going to see a lot more people, you know, downloading with the game DVR, making videos, and now with Microsoft owning Mixer and people who do have a preference for the Xbox platform, just how easy it is to get it started, have your chat overlay put right on your TV for you, and stuff like that. It's just making it so easy for people to just turn the thing on and play, and you're able to see what people are saying, you know, as you're playing, which is awesome. And I think the YouTube app on the PS4, because it has that black strip on the right hand side where your chat is, those things where you're able to see what people are saying that are watching your stream without going and looking over at your computer or anything like that. I think those are really, really valuable tools. I know they're things that I love to use. It's one of the reasons with the PS4 I like streaming, because the chat is right up there and I don't have to do anything with my computer to do it. But this is definitely the content creators generation, and it just keeps evolving year after year.
No, I agree. And I do think it is the generation of content creators in a certain aspect. I mean, it's the first time they put the tool into everybody's hands.
And they're making it very, very easy for anybody just to pick it up, you know, out of the box. You don't need to, you know, learn. It's not big of a learning curve.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I totally agree. I think that, I don't know, for some reason, I think that that's the new podcasting. I just see so many people doing it. And it's interesting because I've always felt that you want to have an audience to do it. But if for some reason, like a lot of people are doing it, I know a couple of my friends, they just stream on Mixer and they don't give a shit. They have like 1 or 2 people watching. They don't care. They're like, it's cool as shit. And I'm like, good for you, bro. I'm like, go out there and do your thing. So I encourage everyone to try it out. Make a Mixer account. Definitely it's the Mooch at Mixer. Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. Linked it
right?
In the chat too.
Yes, thank you, Fox. I think Fox already plugged me as well, so I appreciate that. Guys, let me just say this. We're approaching the 2-hour mark, and we are going to be streaming some Friday the 13th, I believe, with She-Wolf, GKB, myself, and the Crap Gamer. So we're going to be doing that. Let me do some outros, and I would like to say before we leave, please hit that like and subscribe button. Why not say that one more time? Crap says it 3 times a day on his videos, and it works. But let me run down. Let me start with the lovely Mel, who came on tonight. Mel, thanks for coming on. We're going to have you on again. And let everybody know where they can find you, because Coffee Casuals and Consoles is awesome, and you're amazing at what you do. So let people know that don't know.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Like, it was so exciting being on here. I actually was a little bit nervous earlier. I was like, But
it's a great show.
You know, it was cool, and I enjoyed talking with you guys. It's been a while since like I've done anything with you. So you guys in the chat, definitely hit that like button, and you guys can find me. My channel is Oh Snap It's Mel. You can click on the link in the YouTube chat. You guys can check out my podcast, Coffee Casuals and Consoles, every Wednesday. We have a really great group. We have a lot of fun, and we talk about, you know, everything gaming and non-gaming. This Saturday night, we're doing community combat. I do it every 2 weeks. We play Mortal Kombat. We're probably going to be tossing some Injustice in there at some point in time. But, you know, it's a great way for everybody to just get together and beat each other's asses. And, yeah, please sub my channel. It's a lot of fun on there, and we do lots of streams. And, you know, I just enjoy playing different games with different people.
Very cool, Mel. It was awesome having you on. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting me.
Appreciate it. And let me go to your better half, Xbot448. Listen, not only do you have Next, but you're doing that rock and roll thing on Sunday, which is fantastic. Let everybody know where they can find you and about this new thing you're doing and how you're dressing up. That's fantastic.
All right. Check this out. First of all, I think that's the first time somebody has actually called me Mel's better half. It's usually the other way around. So I really do appreciate that, Mooch.
You got it, brother.
I'm gonna see if the check is actually in the mail, because I didn't know you were gonna do it or not.
I gotta plug you, brother.
But yeah, we got the next podcast on my channel. First of all, let me just say, I keep everything simple across the board, whether it's Xbox Live, PSN, my YouTube channel, Twitter, everything is Xbot448. So we have the next podcast this Saturday, 7 p.m. on my channel, where O-Snaps is actually giving away 12 months of EA access to one lucky gamer out there.
I forgot I was going to be on the next podcast. Sorry about that. Tony Almeida, he actually donated that, and he usually donates to Mooch and Crap in the morning. So I thought that was really cool of him.
Awesome, man.
He's an awesome guy.
Awesome.
Yeah, freaking amazing. I actually want to win that, but I can't. Something about being the host or moderator of the show, some bullshit. I don't even know.
It's a conflict of interest, buddy.
Yeah, whatever. But yeah, I'm also on a small show. You might have heard of it. It's on Sunday, anywhere between 7 and like 8:30, depending on the mood. But it's called BGST. So shout out to my boy Next Gen 720. I am a proud member of that podcast. Of course, every Wednesday on O-Snap, it's Mel. Wednesday at 10:30. There was a time change in the morning, so it is a morning show, which is really cool. Coffee, Casuals, and Consoles. And yeah, with my rock out on Sunday, this Sunday, which is a live show. You cannot check it out after the fact due to all that copyright bullshit when it comes to YouTube. But I do a live show for the community to try to bring the community together, make new friends and stuff like that. It's the Xbox Community Rock Out on my channel. It's Sundays at 3:30. And this Sunday, I will be introducing a live camera as well. So you guys will actually be able to see me playing, because O-Snap says it's quite a spectacle when I play this game, because I really feel like I'm on stage and I'm in concert. So definitely check out my channel Sunday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern for that show. It's gonna be pretty awesome.
I'll be there in the front row lighting a match, brother. Trust me, it's gonna be a good time.
Burn the house down.
Let me go to my next buddy here, GKB, the co-host, one of the co-hosts of Console Corner, and the governor, and will be streaming with me tonight. GKB, tell everyone where they can find you when you're on.
Yeah, man. We do Console Corner Tuesdays, 7 p.m. Eastern every week on Xbox Nation, Crossfire. It's always an honor to be on those shows. You can find me, GKB, or Gamers Knows Best, on YouTube and Twitter. Big shout out to some real respected ladies out there. She-Wolf and Fox are going to be doing a new show as well on Monday afternoons called The Gaming Den. The community asked for it, so they are delivering.
Very cool. Yeah, I would like to give a shout out to She-Wolf as well. She helped me out a lot this week with setting up my stream jar for the donation thing, and she knows where everything is. She's got great. Go to GKB and She-Wolf's YouTube page, guys. They don't just have like gaming content and Console Corner. They also have how to do. They have like their own Google search for gaming. Okay, how do I, and then put in the curse word and then the thing you want, and they have it.
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah, they've got it in there. So guys, awesome work. And GKB, thanks for being on the show. We love having you as a permanent member, bro. It's awesome.
Always a pleasure, man.
Let me go to my next brother here. We got one of the guys on Xbox Beast Fire, the man, Dealer, who's also on Xbox Nation. Dealer, thanks for coming on, man. I know you had a long week with moving and everything. You're back home, you're doing your thing, and you finally have like amazing internet. So I want to say thanks for coming on. This time, not short notice. I think I got to hold you at least a couple days in advance. But it's always good to have you on, bro, and your insights knowledgeable.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. A little worn out, but I figured I'd come on here and rock out with you guys. Nonetheless, join the conversation and do what it do, man. E3's close, so looking forward to that.
That's my boy. Thank you, man. I appreciate you coming out. And then my man from the West Coast, southbound and down. The only difference between me and him is we were wearing a rag on a different side of the pockets. What's up, buddy? Listen, thank you so much for your donation. Thanks for your time, southbound. And listen, you're a huge fan favorite in the community. It's funny. You're the only person that can selectively be on Twitter when he wants and pop in and out of people's Xbox Live like chats, and people love you, bro. It says a lot about you.
And because I love everybody, you know what I mean? So you show me respect, I show respect. You love me, I love you too. You know what I mean? And I appreciate, being on Crossfire. It's always been fun since day one. And, like I said, I could kind of, act a fool on Crossfire. You know what I mean?
You could speak your mind.
Yeah, even though I love my TXR, but it's more buttoned down. Right here, I could I could let my hair down. You know what I mean?
We're the
So, yeah.
Unplugged podcast.
Exactly.
Yes, absolutely, bro.
TXR Monday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern. You can find me on Twitter, Southbound 110, and usually Friday evenings here at CrossFire.
That's what Southbound. Southbound, I have a green phone in my house that calls right to you when I get in trouble on Twitter, bro. You're the first guy I call. Yeah, he's my Better Call Saul representative, bro. I appreciate that, bro.
You need anybody disappeared? Don't worry about it.
I need somebody on Twitter to disappear. Who do you call? Don't worry about it. I'll give you the number later. Southbound, thank you, bro. And then my buddy, Crap, my co-host on M&C Mornings, good friend of mine. Crap, thanks for coming on this week. This was an awesome show, bro. Like, it's funny. You said something about Xbox Nation. You're like, we kind of walked into it with just a few subjects, and I think the whole crew came together and made a hell of a show. And I think the same thing happened tonight. And I think it's because of the hype from E3, but I couldn't have done it without you. Thanks, Crap, for coming on.
Hey, no problem, man. Everybody knows who I am, and these are the longest outros I've ever been a part of.
I know your timing.
Hey, mine wasn't bad.
No, Xbox got the record, though.
Yeah, there we go.
So, yeah, make sure you guys catch us because we're going to be streaming Friday the 13th. It should be pretty damn fun. So,
yes,
just check out for Twitter because we'll all be tweeting it out and stuff.
Yeah, give us a few minutes to stretch our legs and grab another alcoholic beverage.
I gotta grab something to eat. Yeah, real quick, and then we'll be on here in a little bit. So yeah,
thanks to the audience. We had well over 450 people here tonight. That's outstanding.
Hit the like button.
Hit that like button, subscribe, and we'll be back next Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Thanks, everybody, and good night.